America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Xtra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10. Every day, Monday through Friday. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230 at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Buddy, welcome back.
Not lying.
Yeah,
we're here.
We are.
It's been a while.
It has been a minute, but I feel good. Had a nice break. I've enjoyed my time off. It's the first time I've ever done that, where I had that much time off at one time.
I joked with my wife yesterday. So won't have any time off until June. That's the plan. Right? Like, so spend it all in December. Spend it all in June when we get around to that crazy part of the travel volleyball season. So I'm here for about the next 6 months. Yes. And then hopefully I get to come back afterwards. Yeah, that's always the plan.
Yes, I think we'll be just fine. I think we'll be good to go. What'd you do during the break, man? Obviously, there's so many stories to cover, and we will.
Man, got so much content. Dude, there's so many things going on in this world.
Dude, it is unreal what the Venezuela thing actually says and does across the globe. And
can we start off by just at least a little small slap on the back?
Well, yeah, I was like,
did we not talk about this
over and over?
How this was going to play out and what the geopolitical situation was going to be and why this was going on when we told you, you're so fortunate. I'm glad that you're here. When we said, this is about 10, 20% about drugs. This is about the Monroe Doctrine and forcing out the Iranians, the Chinese, and the Russians out of this hemisphere. And how is it played out? For every single one of those influencers and those dumbass media members that were like, well, what about the drugs? It's like, no, it's not about that.
No, it's
I was
not.
like, that was the way to get
That's right.
Norm and Norma on board with this. But we told you this was about securing the hemisphere and securing American sovereignty and making sure that we didn't have another enemy like Cuba in our backyard.
Dude, Cuba's going to collapse. That's what's coming.
That's what's coming.
Cuba is going to fall on its own. Donald Trump won't have to do one thing. No one will have to do one thing because the mechanism that kept Cuba operating was Venezuela. Guess what isn't in play anymore? Venezuela. That oil is not getting out anywhere. They're going to struggle with food. They're going to struggle with energy. They're going to collapse on their own. Thankfully, the United States will be there to, once that does happen, once the Castro regime falls, the United States will be there to pick it up. You said something a minute ago, the Monroe Doctrine, which you've brought up many, many times, and we've discussed at length over and over. Some people calling it the Donroe. the Donroe Doctrine, which I thought was quite humorous. I thought it was smart. Very clever play.
It's been fun to watch this on social media where, first off, libertarians put the diaper on. Like, let's go. Like, do you not understand what this is about? Because the libertarians are always, well, it's about oil. Well, first off, oil is aggression. All right? Like, write it down. Oil is aggression. And if you have oil, then you can be aggressive. If we happen to be now in control of this, then guess what? Taiwan is safe. What is going on right now in Eastern Europe you have the Russians who are able to look at them and go, oh, that oil that you need for this war of aggression doesn't happen quite so easily.
Guess you don't have it anymore now, do you?
In the same way, this has now gone on for the better part of 100 years. The Japanese hit us at Pearl Harbor because we cut them off on oil.
That's exactly right. I was watching a documentary about it on Netflix this weekend.
I'm so glad you jumped into that sort of stuff. But that is why it is so geopolitically important of what we did. For everyone that sits back and does I didn't vote for this. Hell, this is exactly what I voted for.
That's right.
There's no boots on the ground.
That's right. And strategic military planning that's been going on since last January. They've been recruiting spies in Venezuela since last January. One of the first things Trump did in office is said, get some boots on the ground, get some people recruited to let us know everything that's happening in Venezuela. That way we can make what happened over the weekend flawless. That's the second one I would like to point out. The second military operation under Donald Trump that was completely flawless.
And what have we talked about? Tug and I are not into endless wars.
At all.
We have both been part of that generation where our friends, our family took part in that. The war on terror was a 20-year endless war. We don't want any part of it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be weak-ass when it comes to this stuff.
Absolutely not.
That's sure enough, think about the amazing portion of this. If you were to tell me, we're going to hit Venezuela, we're going to take out Maduro, and then we're going to lose 30 people. Be like, that sucks. We didn't lose a person.
Zero. One
Zilch.
minor injury, and then one helicopter that took mild damage. That's it.
That's it.
A 2.5-hour operation in and out, strategically flawless.
And you want to talk about sending a signal to the rest of the world.
To the rest of the entire world.
And you let them know that not only can we do this sort of stuff in Iran halfway across the world, we can do this in our own backyard flawlessly.
Hey, China, when's the last time you actually orchestrated an operation with your military? I'll wait.
And the other fun part about this is that you had the Chinese delegates that were in Caracas
that night
that were there to meet with Maduro. Like, we're going to strengthen our relationship.
Yes,
we're going to have a foothold over in this hemisphere.
Yes, we are. Uh-oh.
They actually got up the next morning and like, there's no one to meet with. I guess we have to get out of town.
Let's go.
This is all good stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This is and considering all the craziness that has gone on over the last 3 weeks and the things we were dealing with and the giant fraud schemes and all that sort of stuff over the last several weeks, I was sitting back thinking, I'm going to go back to work and I got to talk about this stuff. I didn't know I was going to be given this sort of, here's the bouquet. Enjoy.
Here's your gift. And here's the other thing that stood out to me. That Maduro was strategically removed from Venezuela because he has taken once the second most wealthy country in the Western Hemisphere behind the United States and turned it into very, very poor people. That's a strategy by leftists. We'll get to that a little later in the show. Point being, that's what New York just elected. What that ultimately is. Are we a long way from that in New York City? Of course. Yes, absolutely. Is it going to be a failure? Yes, it is. That's what socialism looks like on a grand scale. That's what the fools in New York voted for.
What people tend to ignore is that when socialism fails, then it becomes violent. It has never been different. When socialism falls apart and you don't have the political clout, you don't have the money, you're not able to deliver on what you're going to deliver, the first people that complain are the first people that are put against the wall.
Yeah.
And that's how it's always worked. So, yeah, will that happen in New York? Well, not to that extent. But
that's what you're asking for.
But this is what you're asking for. And to look at Venezuela, and we have gone through the numbers, you've had a decline of more than 80% of the amount of wealth people have in that country. Venezuela, considering where they were 25 years ago, just as you pointed out, you had, in the developing world, the second highest standard of living. And that was eroded because of communism, because of what had occurred.
Marxism, socialism.
So that's why you're now seeing like the celebrations in the streets. People are like,
Absolutely.
oh my God, happy times are here again.
Absolutely. And there are so many videos of Venezuelan people and specifically people that didn't care for Donald Trump necessarily.
No, but the white liberal cat ladies will tell you about how they're all wrong.
Oh, I know, right? Because they know. Because they've lived under socialism for so long.
Because they're going to go ahead and point out because they know. They're the ones that want to go ahead and point out to you what's actually going on.
Yeah, because they have any idea. It's so silly to see it all. Interesting over the Christmas and New Year's break, I had Liberal Aunt Peg go, I don't know what they're doing in New York.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it was earth shattering. I was like, well, electing communists, that's what they're doing.
Well, here, let me break this down for you, Aunt Peg.
Nobody's happy up there. Everybody's real worried.
They
should be.
They brought in a bunch of people and gave them voting rights. And then what did they do? They did the tribal thing.
They took over the biggest city in the country.
They decided, let's go ahead and vote for somebody who's going to harm my enemies.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what?
But I was just surprised. Even she, the most liberal of the liberals, was like, nobody up there is happy. They're all nervous about it.
It's the holidays are fun because you get to have long conversations, random stuff that goes on. Like I even had a scenario. I didn't even tell you about this one. So I had a friend of mine who, and we probably talked 95% of it was about comedy. Comedians, actors, movies, all that sort of stuff. The 5% he waded into the lion's cage. And I kind of gave him a look. I was like, "Are you sure you want to go and talk politics with me? Like, let's take a step back here.
Clear the deck."
And it was because his dad had brought up the kinetic strikes against the boats out of Venezuela. And as I pointed out, I was like, "Well, it's a terrorist organization, so they do not have rights. They are viewed through the international courts in this way." And he was like, "Well, what about the Proud Boys?" And that was the moment where I was, as you're giving me this look, I was like, hold on a second. Even a domestic organization, even if you were to call them a terrorist group, they have far more rights than anyone on those boats in Venezuela. But that's the nature of what happens. People get so emotional. So it's surprising to hear that Aunt Peg even was able to put emotion on the backside.
It was just, it was the only thing that we didn't talk politics at all, but at one point, me and my brother-in-law, who's a Air Force veteran, retired Air Force officer, we were talking about how crazy it was, and she just jumped into the conversation. We were kind of in the other side of the room, and she was like, "Everybody's nervous. I'm nervous. I just don't." Yeah, that's what happens when you elect communists.
Well, that's what happens when you have failure sitting on the table.
That's exactly right.
You did it, and you get to do it on the biggest stage.
That's right.
I have talked about New York being a great example. We saw once we got into New Year's the amount of police officers, and the only reason I know this is real is because I had met a New York police officer. Her wife, and I'm saying it correctly, her wife was a detective. Both of them 4 years ago
moved to Florida.
They were like, "We're done with this. This is too crazy." And you're seeing more of that going on. This is going to be a really interesting year in the city of New York, just to lay it out there and show you, here's what happens.
Yeah, here's the decay. Here's how it unfolds. And then the New York City fire commissioner, the fire chief.
That was fun too.
Dude, a person that's never been a firefighter. I thought for sure they would at least go with somebody that's been a firefighter. Maybe they could disguise how stupid they are.
Okay, so I'm of two ways here. If you tell me that you're a CEO and you've done amazing things in different organizations, let's say, for instance, you were CEO in the automotive world.
Sure.
And you move them over to the tech world. Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you you're going to be a failure.
No,
I'm telling you your quality in terms of how you lead. What happens when you don't have a background in leadership? I don't care about the whole firefighting thing.
Oh, I do care about that. I think it's important to be able to understand what it takes to run into a burning building.
I think that it matters to an extent. I think that getting a chance to manage people is a huge deal. And when you haven't done that,
sure.
To me is far more important.
See, I think being a firefighter is really important. I think.
And by the way, I come from a firefighter family.
Yeah, I know you do.
My grandfather spent 30 years in the San Antonio Fire Department. I've been around it.
Can you imagine though, this person trying to tell your grandfather about firefighting and technique and leadership and how he should operate? Because I can't imagine. It would be the biggest eye roll in the history of the world. It'd be like freaking Las Vegas hitting sevens eye roll.
It's weird when you get this.
But to your point, leadership is so valuable. Yes, you can be a good leader in a field that you don't know. You can learn it. I think firefighting is a little different.
Well, I want to point this out in the way that you have. You had officers that you were pointing out that weren't worth a damn versus some that were.
Yeah.
And the difference was they didn't have to know about you.
Yeah.
It's how did they treat you?
Yeah.
What were they doing? Did they understand the temperament? And that's what I think what a lot of that comes down to. The problem that you end up having in a city like New York is that you're going to have a scenario where somebody not only doesn't have leadership experience, but they don't have the experience of the job either.
Oh my God, dude!
But this is
talk about a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay, so I'm going to jump way off. I'm off the tracks. 6 o'clock in the morning.
Let's go.
Did you ever see Chernobyl on HBO?
I did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember? And the woman that's they kind of make a conglomerate. It was a handful.
One woman, but was actually
it was like four different people, and they make her this one character. And she goes to this one person to tell them, the core is open. Here's the problem. We're having a nuclear meltdown. Here's what we have to do. And the guy was previously a shoe salesman. And he's like, well, I'm in charge. I'm in the party.
Yeah, that's right.
Communism will always end up rewarding people that are part of the party that don't really have any expertise.
That's right.
It's just, are you part of it? Okay, cool. Here's how it. And so everything going on in New York right now is another person of, well, have they been down for the struggle? All right, well, let's make them this, X, whatever it turns into. And there is no expertise in the field.
Goodness gracious.
They're just part of the party.
That's it, man. We don't have time to get to it now, but realize that this was a law enforcement operation. There was a reason the FBI was on the helicopters and read Maduro his rights because he had been indicted. We'll get to some of that a little later in the morning. Next, the numbers of Somali fraud is much higher than you think. We'll hit the headlines. We'll get sports on the back end. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
If you love 106.3, then you'll love the all-new Extra 106.3 app. It's loaded with replays of your favorite shows like The Morning Extra and The Kimmer Show, podcasts from conservative voices across the South, and access to Extra's crystal clear live stream from anywhere in Georgia. Grab it now for Apple or Android.
Happy New Year, Extra listeners. A new year means new opportunities to secure your retirement goals. At Masterplan Retirement Consultants, we help you start fresh with holistic retirement planning to create a personalized retirement roadmap designed with you and for you. Our boutique team serves you with fiduciary care, ensuring every step moves you closer to a confident, sustainable retirement. As we all know, the best retirement asset is peace of mind. Make 2026 the year you take control with confidence. Schedule your complimentary consultation today at masterplanretire.com. Masterplan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Masterplan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Masterplan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin with a Fox Celebrity Profile with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson of the true story-inspired song Sung Blue as real-life musical couple Lightning and Thunder. The film follows their journey to the stage, pushing through many obstacles in their way.
What will you take with you from Lightning and Thunder?
With Claire, it would be her resilience, and I think it's
it's a theme throughout the whole film for everybody, for every character, but it's like the grit and resilience.
A lot of artists talk about starting out performing for an audience of a few. So how can you relate most to that love of performing, that need to, I have to do this no matter what?
I got my first job when I was 26. So I had a lot of jobs and I was in a lot of amateur productions. So I just did it. When I graduated from drama school, I started a theatre company, which I assume would be for 9 people. And that's still going. My life went in a direction that I never thought possible. And it's been incredible. But like Mike, I'd still be doing it, even if I had another job.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
Superstar Taylor Swift makes the Dean's List for helping a young girl in Florida battling brain cancer. 2-year-old Lila has been fighting stage 4 cancer. Her mom, Caitlin, posted a video of her daughter in the hospital watching a video of Taylor Swift, and you can hear Lila say, "My friend." Miss Swift somehow saw the sweet clip and responded by donating $100,000 to a GoFundMe for Lila and left the comment, "Sending the biggest hug to my friend Lila. Love, Taylor." Caitlin was overwhelmed with gratitude and was in shock after she read the message and saw the donation. She wrote, quote, "I cannot thank you enough. I'm truly in shock. This means we don't have to worry about anything other than Lila. Truly such a blessing. Thank you, Taylor Swift." Janice Dean, Fox News.
Fox on Film.
I'm Kathleen Maloney. Avatar Fire and Ash remains in first place in its third weekend, adding another 40 million in North American ticket sales.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
Avatar Fire and Ash also reaching the $1 billion mark globally, marking another successful film for director James Cameron, who directed the first 2 Avatar films. Disney's Zootopia 2 lands in second place with 19 million.
Buddy, Fox! This is a make or break assignment. Fail and I will split you up.
No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
Hops and Wild?
Wild and Hops. The dream team. Sorry, Paul.
And Lionsgate's The Housemaid finishes third with 15.2 million. Kathleen Maloney, Fox News.
Fox on Tech.
There was a bipartisan meeting of lawmakers on Capitol Hill before meeting with some top bank executives lobbying Congress to shape the new rules for crypto in a way that benefits them. Some of the heavy hitters at the forum, Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser, Bank of America's Brian Moynihan, and Wells Fargo CEO Charlie Scharf. They're talking about the Clarity Act, a major bill that would create a new market structure for crypto, which is currently stalled. Other parts of the world are ahead of us on crypto legislation, like Europe. Here's what SEC Chairman Paul Atkins had to say about this during our one-on-one interview.
In some ways, we could almost overstep what Europe already has because they might be too stringent with the rules.
They've started to change already things that they had adopted, maybe 5 years ago or something like that. So I think it's a fluid situation by nature, and that's not a bad thing. But I feel confident that here over the next year or two that we'll be where we should be.
With Fox on Tech, Darren Botello, Fox Business.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 5th. More than $300 million in federal emergency funds are headed to communities in Georgia to aid recovery from Hurricane Helene damage. The release of these funds was delayed, which local officials say caused additional hardship for residents. The storm caused significant damage when it moved through the state in September 2024. Authorities in Paulding County arrested 10 suspects and seized more than $1 million in illegal drugs, including fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and over 10,000 pills. Investigators also confiscated 71 firearms, a live hand grenade, and about $250,000 in cash during the operation. The quantity of the drugs seized was estimated to be enough to kill nearly 4 million people. And Georgia teens report lower alcohol use than the national average, with about 12.5% saying they drank in the last month compared to over 15% nationally. They also have a lower binge drinking rate than the national figure at roughly 6.9%. Today's weather mostly cloudy with a high of 62. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
I think Donald Trump is right again. What's happening in Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg, and we'll find out, that every state and every blue city will have their own issues. But that's the Democrats' voting base. They are living off the taxpayers' backs. I mean, they're the fraud numbers. Donald Trump said 18 million. That was the number he
billion.
Used. A billion, I'm sorry, yes. 18
with a B.
billion, with a B, yes. was the fraud numbers out of Minnesota. You're starting to see it pop up in Columbus, Illinois, Columbus, Ohio, rather. That was the thing that was bubbling up over the last couple days. People talking about that directly, and I know the House Oversight Committee is going to do a hearing on this, which tells me absolutely nothing is going to happen to anyone that was involved.
That's one of the great American traditions is like, we have uncovered all sorts of waste, fraud, etc. We're going to subpoena all these people. So that's how you're telling me nobody's going to jail?
No. Nothing's going to happen. Very few, if anyone, will be punished for this. I mean, just think about it. Dude, look.
Well, $18 billion would go a long way in Somalia, Tug.
Dude, $18 billion would go a long way in Atlanta.
Yeah, you could buy whatever you wanted to buy over there for as long as you wanted your little new community to exist.
Yeah. Problem is, it's not just going to Somalia, it's going to Al-Shabaab, the terrorist organization, and then being laundered back, in my opinion, to the Democrats. That's the way they'd done it for years and years and years to finance campaigns. They did it through USAID, and now they're broke all of a sudden. That thing went away. But that's who the Democrats are. They're like, we're going to import people that will vote for us. We're going to tell them they'll give them lots of money, give them opportunity to do what they're doing in Minnesota. We won't do anything about it. Everybody wins, in their view.
It's just it's a numbers game when you look at the federal government racketeering and money laundering scheme. You really wonder, and this is the part that was said, if Trump had a mistake, it was, and it's not a mistake in the sense of like what he did was the wrong thing, but when he put Elon Musk over the Department of Government Efficiency, Democrats should have been in favor of codifying that congressionally. And Republicans too.
Yeah, many weren't.
Well, I don't know that the forethought ever came of, hey, can we do this in this realm? But, you've got a transcendent figure who is really willing to lend his time, who I venture to guess probably doesn't agree with, meaning Elon Musk. I bet he doesn't agree with Trump plenty.
Yeah, but if you watch his Twitter, he seems to be agreeing more often than not now.
I'm sure. I think he always has. I think when the Democrats really started to censor people for saying things that weren't popular, that was where Elon was like, I'm not fine with this.
Yeah, I'm not okay with censorship. I'm not okay with the fraud. I'm not okay with stolen elections and things.
I think I really do think it was the fact that they took to social media and censored what people said.
Well, and he got to see it up close when he bought
Twitter and fired 80% of the workforce, and nothing changed.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the federal government. Do we need all those people? No. The answer is no. And that's the only thing that grew under the Biden administration was government health care.
I'll tell you, dude, we spend as much money as they did. More.
No, I know that. But I don't like that either.
Maybe we're spending it on stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
That was always my. I'll just tell you, even locally, we did like a 25. It was a $25 or $30 million bond initiative in 2021 when I was about to roll off the city council in Alpharetta. There were two big reasons why I did it. One, the bureaucrats know how to hide anything in a 400-page budget.
Knowing no one will read it.
Knowing that, and if you ask questions, if it's vague enough, like, I'm just going to break it to you. Your state legislators and congressmen, they don't have any freaking idea what's in that thing.
Yeah.
And they don't put it together.
We have to pass it to find out what's in it.
And there's some truth to it. But I did a bond deal just knowing in parks locally, small potatoes. I was like, it is spent on these 7 things and only these 7 things because I knew the money was free. It's,
from the federal government.
Or
from the bond.
Yeah, from the bond.
Yeah.
It was 2% interest, which means it was free.
Yeah.
And I knew that they're really good at being like, well, we hired somebody here and we hired somebody here and we hired somebody here. And I'm one of 7 people. I don't know what all these people do for a living. I'm not saying that they're not necessary. I'm positive they're not all necessary.
They're definitely not all necessary.
You know, I'm very pro people who clean up parks, fix slides.
Me too. Yeah.
And pave potholes.
Yes, dude, working with your hands that's a great skill to have, especially now.
But I know between 450 or 500 people, they ain't all doing that.
Yeah, that's right. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So I really spent the money knowing that at least you could feel good that they had to make the budget balance, and knowing that I was at least keeping a couple people off the payroll.
And it was easier to do at a local level like that.
Well, yeah, the budget in every city in the state of Georgia, and it's honestly like probably 35 to 38 states around the country, have to balance their budget. It's the biggest disconnect between your state government and Washington, D.C., because they're the ones who print it that make all of the dollars in your wallet worth less money.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to the affordability thing we talk about,
because
where people don't.
That's going to be a huge thing going into now.
25-year-old kids came out of school and were spending a devalued dollar.
Yep.
And
still are.
And the Republicans are just as guilty.
Absolutely, they are. They love spending your money just as. That's what I told you earlier. I think 3/4 of people in government are there for themselves and nothing else. I believe that's the number, 3/4.
You'd have a hard time disagreeing with that. Dude, why would you... Okay, if you were a capitalist, and we're not all capitalists anymore, apparently. If you were a capitalist, why do you want to seek out a government job? And I'll even include the Department of Defense. 3/4 of them, why do they go do it?
They're permanently employed.
You think that's the case with the military?
Yeah. I think that's why people stay. Yes. You have a job and you have a pension at the end.
42 years old, my dad started drawing a pension. With lifetime health care.
Right. Which, let me tell you, don't try to use it because the VA sucks. And everybody knows it. If you want to...
Well, he's got TRICARE.
Yeah, well...
It's a step up.
Barely. Because my brother...
He'll also say that, too.
Yeah, right, exactly. If you want to see what socialized medicine's like, get on the VA. And anybody that has to deal with it knows that it's not good.
But you think that's what it is? 75% know where the next 2 weeks is going to come from.
Especially, think about this in the military. Especially knowing that we've lived in relative peacetime.
Oh, I mean, the last 5 years for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But even prior to that, 20 years ago, before Afghanistan started.
Yeah.
It was...
The Iraq War the first time around, and that was about all that was between Vietnam and 2002.
Mm-hmm. So you have relative peacetime.
That's what my dad was in.
Yeah.
He went in the year after Vietnam, and he got out in 97.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Maybe 96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right.
Dude, I lived in Hawaii twice.
That's what I'm saying.
Japan.
It is not a bad life.
Right.
You're not making millions.
No.
But you have dedicate. You know where you're going to be for the most part.
That's what he did.
There's a check coming in for the most part. So I think a lot of people stay in the military because of that. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing necessarily. What I am saying is that in government, 3/4, especially elected office, they are there because they know they can get really, really rich. Ask Nancy Pelosi, and as J.D. Vance said, she's not even in the top 10 of people that has gotten rich by being in D.C. and taking advantage of the positions that they're in. I believe it used to be, hey, how do I improve the life of the everyday American? I don't think that's it anymore. I think maybe even the ones that did go up there with that reason get caught up in the machine, and it is so easy to. I mean, it's like a wave pool, man.
I didn't say it when I did it. I was like, I'm only going to do it once, and I'm going to do it as hard as I can do it. And for 4 years, and that's the same attitude of like, I could go back and run for elected office and be like, I don't intend to stay.
Yeah.
If I did the General Assembly, I'd probably shoot for the 8 years. But I don't have an overwhelming desire to. I loved it. I was great at it, and it took a little while to do it. But if I was to do Congress, I'd do 3 terms, and I wouldn't even lie about it. I'd be why only 3? Because I'd want to qualify for the pension, and I want to give the seat back.
My original point.
Yeah, but that's not
for the pension.
Yeah,
but that's, dude, a life. That's quite a perk. Nobody else got one.
Look, your state legislators in Georgia, if they do get health care until 65.
Absolutely. And theirs is not like the crappy kind.
No, it's
there's a reason that those in Congress and in the Senate in the U.S.
they got a good gig.
They don't use the ACA. They don't use Obamacare.
And I think you have to get to a place where you force them. And I think
you have to be able to. You have to live under the conditions that you set for everybody else.
I would love to do it for a handful of terms. I don't have any desire to do any of them longer than probably 6 years. I just don't.
Yeah, it would be. I don't have any desire to be up there, and maybe I shouldn't complain about it because I'm not willing to do it. But I just think it's such a cesspool, and I have no love or respect for it and the people that are doing it. I think the country is amazing, and I think
it's amazing in spite of that.
Yeah, no, me too.
Which is even more impressive.
Well, yeah, it is. That's such a great point. In spite of the just crap.
That's why
DC puts out.
Well, it's not just there. It's really like we're good at hating on California. Dude, Silicon Valley, the people that live there, it is like nowhere else on earth. And it's not that, they moved there because that was the collection of brain trust.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's where it all was.
And man, it is just to see what has come out of there. Like, that is successful in spite of California.
Yeah. And continuing to grow in spite of.
But
that's why they're leaving, though.
Yeah.
That's why they're going to Texas and places like that.
Do you ever listen to the Georgia politicians say, Georgia's the best place to live, work, and raise a family?
Yeah.
Who are they selling this to?
Anybody that'll listen.
And I love it here. I'm not leaving. If I was starting a business that was on that scale, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it'd be in Texas or Florida.
Yeah. You know why?
There's all kinds of great. Well, Florida's blood red.
Yeah.
That's the reason for Florida.
And they still are. And while everybody's kind of wavering on Trump, they ain't wavering on Ron DeSantis.
No, they are not. And I love DeSantis.
He was a missed opportunity for America.
He was. Yep. Agreed. But
that might make people.
No,
I'd stand by it.
But I still think he has a chance.
Oh, I hope so.
I think he's still got a chance to be at the federal level.
I don't know that he's the messenger. I think he's every bit the leader.
No question about it. I agree with that 100%.
Dude,
his leadership is. All you have to do is look at Florida, and his leadership is rock solid. When he took on Disney, that's when I was in. That's when I knew Ron DeSantis was a guy that I could stand behind. Dude, he took in his own backyard the biggest entity and said, I don't care what you want. Here's what we're doing.
He had a lot of what's interesting is that Republicans who pay attention still remember that. They were part of those lawsuits he lost.
Oh, I know.
No,
but it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
And I think it was worth the task.
And that to me is like, he's like, because it was about a self-governing district.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, I think he filed the lawsuit knowing he was going to lose.
Oh, sure.
But
I believe that too.
Yeah, but that's a mark of a smart politician.
Absolutely, dude. It was worth it. He won in the court of public opinion. He won. He didn't win in the courtroom, but he won everywhere else.
He stuck it to ESPN and Mickey Mouse. You can't find a bigger corporate villain than those two.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I say that to you, Greg Sankey.
Right. SEC. Y'all ruining things.
He did ruin it.
Dude, him and the Big Ten. All of them, man.
He ruined, I think, Greg Sankey, when you have a Mount Rushmore of people who ruined college athletics, his ass might not be first. It's for sure in the top three.
It's on top four.
Well, I'm saying whoever the fourth one is, we don't know, but we know he's one of the top three.
I love it. Tug and Los till 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 when we come back. Maduro was not the president of Venezuela. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. The NFL playoffs are set to begin, but the Atlanta Falcons are cleaning house despite their 4-game winning streak to end the season at 8-9. The team has fired head coach Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot. The Falcons started the season 6-3 before faltering in the middle of the season. As for the Atlanta Hawks, they're in action tonight north of the border as they match up with the Toronto Raptors. The Hawks are 17-20 on the season. Tip-off is set for 7:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Just a quick reminder here. You know, when people get actually worrying about health insurance, when that starts not during open enrollment, it's when the first premium auto draft hits in January. See the number, check the bank balance, say, wait a minute, what the heck is that? For families like family of four, especially unsubsidized, 2026 means paying thousands of dollars more than 2025. Deductibles so high, you're afraid to even use the damn thing. They think, oh, great, I'm stuck. Well, the truth is not everybody. Washington's not making it easier. Stephen does. Health insurance doctor, generally healthy and don't rely on subsidies, maybe private underwritten options available year-round if you qualify. Less than marketplace plans. Call Stephen. He's a health insurance doctor. No call centers. It's real. Stephen answers the phone. If your January draft made you say nope, here's the number, 678-523-0759. 678-523-0759. Before you suffer for a year, healthinsurancedoctor.net. Before you're stuck, healthinsurancedoctor.net.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
Fox on Tech. Elon Musk wants to put more computers into more brains this year. Musk's brain-computer interface company called Neuralink is now planning for what he calls high-volume production of the implantable devices, which allow patients to use their brainwave patterns to remotely control tech. Musk made the announcement in a post on his X social media platform. Brain-computer interfaces have been the work of medical researchers for years, though Musk's company touts successes with a smaller device allowing test patients who are physically disabled to operate computers, play video games, and make social media posts using their own thoughts. The idea is to eventually empower such patients to have full use of everyday tech such as smartphones and mobility devices, bringing the patient more autonomy and independence. Musk also stated that by the end of this year, Neuralink could be implanted using robotic surgery. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
It's January 5th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Screenwriters Day, and if you ask actor Ryan Reynolds, screenwriters are unsung heroes.
It's a hugely undervalued asset in Hollywood. They are the architects. They make us look good.
So grab your laptop, head to your closest coffee shop, and start typing away. Who knows, someday Ryan Reynolds may talk about you. Also on this date, Henry Ford doubled the per-day wage for most of his workers from $2.40 for a 9-hour day to $5 for an 8-hour day in 1914. Legendary Dodgers player Jackie Robinson announced his retirement in 1957. If it's your birthday today, you share it with King C. Gillette, the inventor of inexpensive and disposable razors, born in 1855. And REO Speedwagon drummer Brian Hitt, born in 1954. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The legend Neil Bortz. He's only on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
You want to yank my chain, get me sputtering mad? A headline like this will do it. The headline says, as seniors flock to Florida, will there be enough Social Security money? Enough? There is no Social Security money.
Atlanta Talk radio legends are only on Extra 106.3.
We will speak with that fine man, Neil Bortz, tomorrow morning, about 45 minutes from now. Fast forward to tomorrow.
Actually, we're covered up in power today.
What now?
Well, I'm just saying, we got a lot of people that are rolling through the show today.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. Absolutely right.
I mean, we're going to get a chance at some point, and we'll see how it plays out. Guy running, Derek Dooley is a pretty important person.
Yeah, no doubt. Dr. Rich McCormick, who was a 20-year Marine Corps helicopter pilot. I would love to know what he thinks of how the mission went down, the fact that all those helicopters got in, they bombed all of the, the anti-aircraft stuff that the Venezuelans were supposed to, have and be so well versed with. Just what might have been going through the head and just to get into the head of a helicopter pilot, knowing what they were able to do, knowing that Rich was.
Well, it is different. The fact that you are heading into an area where there is a possibility of conflict. And one of the people I listened to a podcast about a month ago, and it was Michael Durant. And the name is familiar because he was one of the down pilots from Black Hawk Down. And you have the whole story there.
Yeah.
But he took part in Operation Just Cause over in Panama. And he talked about having to put his helicopter down in an area where he's like, I probably should have crashed it. He's like, but I landed on a tennis court. And I was just fortunate. And so he talked about that entire operation where they're thinking, hey, we're going to be shot at. We're going to have a lot of problems that are going to go on. And before you know it, the Panamanian forces basically laid down. They're like, hey, take Noriega.
Yeah.
Y'all have him.
There's the door.
And I think we had a very similar scenario play out in Venezuela.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up because I was just watching some news coverage from over the weekend on X. You can find me at Tug Carlos at Front Office Los and at Extra 106.3. And it was ABC Chicago, and they were talking about how all the politicians were condemning Donald Trump's capture of Nicolas Maduro. Right behind them, over the woman's shoulder, are Venezuelans celebrating in the streets of Chicago, restaurant owners in the city of Chicago. Dude, it just, the irony does not escape.
There are so many tentacles here because the people of Venezuela did not view this person as a head of state.
And nor did the United States nor Europe.
The Biden administration did not view this person as a head of state. They recognized that they lost the election, and we'll get into some of the election silliness that goes on there as far as a lot of the part of the reason why Elon Musk knew that Donald Trump was going to win the election last year in 2024 was because he knew that what was going on was that the Venezuelans and their games were not going to play a factor, that the cybersecurity had been improved. And that's where he was like, okay, the CIA basically were running operations out of Venezuela to basically influence elections around the world. So that goes away. You have the scenario where somebody who was not a head of state is suddenly recognized as one by the left because he was snatched up out of his residence,
that's right,
him and his wife, and brought here to face justice.
Not because they actually did. Because if you recall, it was the Biden administration put the $25 million bounty on
for
Maduro.
Information leading to his arrest.
That's right. He's such a it's not a threat at all. If you hear Chris Murphy from Connecticut talk about how he was not a threat at all, just not a threat. Like, a $25 million bounty. Of course, Trump bumped it up to 50. If you're wondering what the difference in numbers is, that's what it is. But you're trying to tell me that the administration that you say it was a good one in the Biden administration. We all know it wasn't. You're telling me that they were just wrong. They just randomly put a $25 million bounty on somebody's head.
Joe Biden had a post in 2020 where he talked about him being a thug and how that's the reason why Donald Trump looks at him with a bit of fervor, like, oh well, look how he runs things. This is how I would run them. The problem was Joe Biden, once he got into office, was like, he's our ally.
Yeah, no kidding.
To the left,
Yeah,
and we need him here.
That's right.
That's the reason why. At any point, and this is what I always love bringing up with leftists. I love bringing this up. It was so easy. Why didn't your guy do it?
Because they didn't want to.
Because they didn't want to. Why do we have energy production the way we do versus the previous administration? It was so easy that a moron, right? A moron, dumb, orange man, bad, all that sort of stuff. It was so easy. Why didn't your guy do it?
Closing the border was so easy.
So easy. Why didn't your guy do it? Getting Maduro out of Venezuela. It was so easy. Why didn't your guy do it?
He had no desire to do it. He had no desire
interest
to do any of those things that you addressed.
None of it.
None of them. And those crazy, the crazy leftists that are demanding the release of Maduro in New York City. Are you kidding me, dude?
No.
The paid agitators, the paid protesters. Get out of here, man.
When all the signs, because they were able to spin up a protest within about 24,
Identical.
48 hours.
Every one of them.
The signs are the same. They're paid for. These people are not real.
No blood for oil in yellow. And let me get the other one for you. Hang on as the video pops through. U.S. out of Venezuela. Those are the two different signs, at least in this one video. And every one of them are identical.
Listen, we have a similar scenario going on when it comes to the conservative movement of people that are influencers that are paid and they're being directed in all sorts of crazy directions. And we have to deal with that. What I can tell you is that Tug and I, at no point have we been reached out to by anybody outside of our management and ownership, and they never give us direction.
They never give us direction. You talk about anything.
Talk about anything you want. Do whatever you feel like. Right. So when you show up to this radio program, when you show up and you listen to our podcast, at no point will you ever go, oh, well, I wonder who bought them. That's not the way it is.
No one.
What's going on the left is that you see them in the streets. They make it public. And you're watching them going, why do the signs in New York are the same ones in Chicago? I wonder who would give up their Saturday. And let's face it, it's an NFL college football Saturday. I'm not giving you up. I'm not giving that to you.
No way.
Yet these people are out there on the street, and when they're ever approached and it's brought up to them, hey, do you see the people of Venezuela are actually celebrating this? They're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
I'm here to hold this sign.
Dude, on Saturday, I watched Georgia beat Auburn in college basketball. That's what I was doing.
There you go. But Maduro was not a head of state.
No, that's the first thing.
As much as it wants to be pointed out by the left, what this person was the head of a narco-terrorist organization. And that's why you have a number of courts, including those here, that are going to try him, and they'll put him in jail for a long time.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. That's easy. And if you're
and warned him, by the way.
What's that?
Warned him, by the way.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Why don't you go to a non-extradition country? Why don't you leave?
Had a phone call with him.
Time to go.
A week ago.
Yes.
Saying, dude, it's time.
It's time to go.
I don't know if you've noticed the entire blockade. I'm sure you had to have noticed. You can't miss it. It's the biggest blockade, the biggest armada that we've had in, 50, 75 years.
About those oil tankers that aren't getting through.
Yeah.
And we're seizing them. And you might notice.
That's the other thing that's so funny. When no blood for oil, it's all about oil, it's only oil. Why do you think China was there?
Because they were doing the same thing
That's right.
that we looked at. As I pointed out to open up the show, oil is aggression.
Absolutely.
Oil is power.
Without a doubt.
And we just took it away from the Russians, the Chinese, and the Iranians.
The Iranians and the Cubans. The Cubans are so doomed.
The Cubans are going to die on the vine.
Yeah, they are. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly.
Could you imagine if Cuba actually was to get rid of their entire communist government?
They'd be the most
in the next 3
wealthy.
years.
It would be a resort land like you've never seen before. A 90-minute, it's 90 minutes off the coast of Florida. A flight like that, it'd be closer than the Bahamas. It'd be closer than anywhere. And it would be a tropical paradise. Those people would flourish. Absolutely flourish with tourism alone, dude.
That would be next with the Monroe Doctrine. As far as kicking out the communists out of this hemisphere.
Yes.
Or you will not be doing this.
The Don Roe
Yes.
The Dunroe.
The Dunroe doctrine.
The Dunroe doctrine.
Again, I'm looking at all this stuff saying, hey, it's all played
good.
very well.
It's all good. Everything.
This is what I voted for. We're invading Venezuela. We're not invading Venezuela.
What? No, we went in and performed a law enforcement operation, and now we're in better shape because of it. As is the country, as is the Venezuelan people. When we come back, the change in Venezuela is good for America. We'll explain why, if you don't already know. Something tells me we'll add some things that you've not heard quite yet in mainstream media. Next on Extra 1063.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our Extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the Extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
Christmas is over, so why not get what you really wanted? Jaron Solomon here, and now is the time to treat yourself to the perfect piece at Solomon Brothers Jewelers, because you deserve it. Or maybe your New Year's resolution is to make someone else's dream come true with the perfect engagement ring. Or Valentine's Day with a gift that says it all. No matter what you are shopping for, we have 3 Atlanta locations in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg, and endless ways to celebrate you and the ones you love. Don't forget to head to the website at SolomonBrothers.com to check out the clearance page to get the absolute best deals on the styles we simply bought too much of for 2025. And with our low price guarantee and flexible financing, luxury has never been more accessible. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, helping Atlanta say I do since 1982.
It's Fox Wheels.
Satellite internet is coming to your car soon as Tesla gets the green light from the FCC to use Starlink terminals on moving vehicles, enabling high-speed satellite-based internet in Tesla cars or even in planes, ships, or other moving vehicles, which the company says will allow for reliable connectivity in the middle of nowhere as Starlink expands beyond stationary usage. Waymo has begun offering select riders access to driverless taxi trips on Los Angeles freeways, expanding its autonomous service beyond surface streets, where there may still be some issues to work out after a Waymo ride in Hollywood took a wrong turn, past road flares, and into an active fire scene, possibly with a passenger on board. We're told the driverless car stayed inside the blocked area for about 10 minutes before it made a U-turn and drove away. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
This is House Call for Health. January is National Blood Donation Month. The American Red Cross says it's a time to honor the life-saving contributions of blood donors and raise awareness about the urgent need for donations. Why hold this month in January? They say winter is a tough time on blood collection efforts. Everything from severe weather like snowstorms and freezing temperatures to seasonal illnesses like the flu and RSV, leading people to miss appointments or just to fewer donors in general. President Richard Nixon signed a proclamation on December 31st, 1960, establishing the month, writing, quote, "No manifestation of this generosity of spirit is more expressive and no gift more priceless in time of personal crisis than the donation of one's blood. The voluntary blood donor truly gives life itself." To donate blood, you can find a nearby blood drive or schedule an appointment using the Red Cross Blood Donor app by going to redcrossblood.org, or for more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 1063.
From the leader in Venezuela to an inmate in New York City. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Nicolas Maduro, captured in that U.S. operation Saturday, is jailed, and in 5 hours will be arraigned.
Set to face charges that he ran a multi-billion-dollar drug operation with the Sinaloa and Zeta cartels and others that flooded our country with hundreds of tons of cocaine over 2 decades. He faces 4 counts: narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices. His wife, Celia, who was also captured and is in U.S. custody, faces similar charges as does their son, Nicholas, and other government officials who are also charged.
Fox's Harry Sean outside that federal court in Manhattan. Congressional leaders will get a briefing today on the operation that captured Maduro. Democrats have called it illegal. President Trump told reporters in Air Force One flying back to the White House, Venezuela's a mess and the U.S. is in charge now.
We're going to just take care of the country. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, is offering cooperation in a statement.
Our peoples and our region deserve peace and dialogue, not war. Rodriguez takes over today having been told by President Trump she could pay a very big price if she doesn't do what's right. She's offered to collaborate with the United States. Meanwhile, Cuba is mourning the deaths of 32 of its citizens as a result of the U.S. operation in Venezuela. The communist-run country supplied much of Maduro's security detail.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Trump also told reporters he thinks Cuba looks ready to fall. And he said this.
We need Greenland from a national security situation.
The president has talked about taking Greenland before, but it's a territory of Denmark. The Danish prime minister says the U.S. has no right to it and should stop the threats. America's listening to Fox.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Does your friend listen to an old station whose news gives them the blues? Set your friend right. Tell him to download the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. We're so glad that you're here with us, starting this new year on Extra 1063.
I can't believe that you worked on Friday without me.
Well, let me tell you, I had to because I know I'm going to need vacation days because, like you, I got a kid that plays ball and we got to drive every which way to go see him. So I
kind of felt cheated on a little bit. Kind of felt a little bit cheated on. That's fine, though.
That's right. Well, I felt cheated on, too. I felt like, where's Los? He should have came in.
No,
where's he at?
I'm not going to come into work for one day.
Yeah, man, it was great.
I'm down a vacation day to start the year.
I know, see, and I'm up one. That's why I'm just saying I may have made the right choice there. I don't know.
Probably so.
Cincinnati officers have arrested a suspect early this morning, finding several windows shattered in the Cincinnati residence of J.D. Vance. So just put that on your radar, just so you know that the leftists are crazy, and they will continue to act crazy. There's nothing going to change there. They're going to be crazy and do crazy things. So I thought I would share that with you just because that news is breaking there. And
just leave Can we not, like in 2026, leave your political opponents alone?
They don't believe in that.
No, not at all.
You and I are not going to anybody's. Nobody I know politically is going to break into anyone's home.
I will say this. So over the weekend, I saw, and she has totally fallen off the radar now that she's no longer on ESPN. So Sarah Spain. Sarah Spain is a leftist. I might have at one point before 2026 called her a leftist hag, but I don't do that anymore. I don't do that.
We're not name calling on this show.
And her point was,
we're above the fray.
Look what they're doing. Look what the Trump administration, they're just grabbing heads of state out of countries. And I was like, you don't have any room to talk. Your side is into assassination.
Yeah.
And apparently breaking into more homes or causing. It's like, listen, I'm not looking to go over to AOC's residence and bust down her door.
No,
at all. In fact, I'll just let her be.
Yeah. Let her be crazy.
Stop getting fat. But I'm just going to let her be.
Don't
Like
say
I'm
that.
just saying that I'm just saying that if you want to up the cuteness factor, let's lay off the some of the stuff there.
Yeah, that's right. Get on Ozempic or something.
I have no interest in any of this. Yet your side, Sarah Spain and the rest of y'all, continues to want to harass our side.
Yeah, right.
It's like you're trying to call down the thunder.
It's crazy to me that the No Kings people are the ones that are raising Cain about removing a dictator. The No Kings people of all people, dude. And there was a great tweet by if I can find it, a dude. I think it's Matt Van Hollen. I think is his name. Oh no, Matt Van Swole. He's the one. He was reporting a lot on North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah. He's a as he points it out. He was formerly liberal, and his
and
eyes,
an atheist.
Yes, and his eyes were opened up as to what is really going on in this country after the hurricane. And he's definitely more on our side. But you just look at the guy, and he's decidedly healthier, decidedly more well off, and points out that it was a horrible mindset that he was taking part in.
And he tweets as of 15 hours ago. So let me get this straight. 9 months ago, Ukrainian flags. 8 months ago, Palestinian flags. 7 months ago, Mexican flags. 6 months ago, Iranian flags. Fast forward now, Venezuelan flags. Did these people ever wave the flag of the United States?
Do you know how miserable that you actually have to be to get up every single morning and wait for your download to be told what you have to care about or what you have to be angry about that day? One of the rewards of being conservative is that we don't change. Now, we have some different ideas. There's some areas where we will move according to what is going on in this society. But what I believe is what I believe, which is largely leave me alone.
Perfect. That's exactly what I like.
Like every answer is always
leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Y'all let me.
I don't leave you alone.
Yeah.
And in fact, if it encroaches on you, I'm going to be like, you need to stop that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Leave you alone, leave me alone.
Your rights end where they start encroaching on someone else's. That's pretty simple.
Pretty general.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't change, but you think about those people on the other side that get up every single morning and are like, what do I need to be angry at today? What a miserable existence.
But that's why they're on antidepressants. That's why they have a background, a track record of mental illness. Conservatives don't struggle with that nearly as much.
It's fun when we get to go out, and we don't do it a ton, but when you and I have taken part in a political event, every time I've shown up and been in a room full of a bunch of happy people.
Every time.
Does it mean that you're going to win the election or things are going to work out for you? No.
But you'll still be looking for the silver lining. You'll still be looking for the good in life and in the world.
You meet a bunch of people that when it comes to their mentality, it's I'm looking forward.
Yes, that's right.
That's good to be around.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine the other end of it.
Yeah, me either. Well, we've seen it. Both of us have close family members who fall into that camp. And watching their misery is so hard. It's hard for me to see my dear Aunt Peg be miserable all the time. Trump's going to be, he said he's going to be a dictator on day one. I mean, it's always something like that. There's never a moment where it's like, hey, great to see you. I love you. What a beautiful day. It's never that.
It's rough when you see how that mentality, and the one that we always get to joke around about is Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh, my heavens.
Rosie O'Donnell aged like 30 years since 2016 because she's so mad at the world.
Miserable.
She's so angry at Donald Trump.
All the time.
All the time. All right, so if you have that sort of poison in your life, that's your mentality, what do you think it does to you?
Ages you greatly.
I'd still laugh. Like when we look at what goes on with Keith Olbermann, who was off the rocker again over the weekend. Another miserable person who's just stuck in their apartment, living their life in misery. Who wants that?
Nobody that I can.
And by the way, if you don't agree with me politically, I want you to do well. I want you to be happy.
But see, that's the difference. I think that's the difference summarized very well in conservatism and liberalism. I have no ill will toward anyone. Though I want to beat them in the election, though I want to drag them kicking and screaming across the finish line, I don't want bad things to happen to Joe Biden, or you brought up AOC, or anybody else. I don't have any ill will to. I don't want them to have anything bad happen to them.
You said wanted her to get Ozempic.
Well, but that was just because you're poking fun because you ate a lot during the holidays. That's all.
You just want her a little bit less robust.
It's good for her health. It's better.
Less round.
It's better for her. When you weigh less, it's better for you.
I started a fast yesterday.
Did you? How many days you going? Or how many hours?
I think I'm just going to try and shoot for 72.
72 hours. So
nothing too crazy.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good to me.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, you and I have done this in the past.
Absolutely.
And it's great for you.
We need to time it out. That way we can do it as a team and support each other.
Okay. As I think to myself, I'm like, Because the last time when you and I did this, my mom came in town and she wanted to take us to dinner. That's what ended it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Otherwise, I was going to go like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, sometimes it happens like that. And dude, it's all, again,
a body reset. That's all it is.
I love it. I think it's good for you. Another thing I think that is good is Maduro being out of power in Venezuela. Marco Rubio easily explains this to the knuckleheads on Meet the Press. Why is this good for America? Listen.
If the purpose of the operation was to capture Maduro and bring him to justice, why does the United States need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry?
Well, we don't need to. First of all, let me go back up. We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Have specific oil companies?
We also want to see that oil and the proceeds from it. Hold on. We want to see the oil proceeds of that country benefit the people of Venezuela. Why have 8 million people left Venezuela? 8 million, the single largest mass migration probably in modern history, left Venezuela since 2014 because all the wealth of that country was stolen to the benefit of Maduro and his cronies in the regime, but not to the benefit of people of Venezuela. You know how destabilizing 8 million migrants is? The number one fear that Brazil has, that Colombia has, that all these countries in the region have about what's happening in Venezuela and our involvement is they're afraid of another mass migration event. That's what they fear. This is deeply destabilizing stuff. It's not going to continue to happen. They are not going to come from outside of our hemisphere, destabilize our region in our own backyard, and us have to pay the price for it. Not under President Trump.
They being Russia, China, Iran, even India to a degree, but definitely Cuba. We've told you how many times the Chinese were wanting to build a Navy base in Venezuela. That was the discussion. The Chinese had been there like hours before.
They were there in town.
Dude, can you imagine the Chinese delegation as all this is coming down? Oh, my God.
Well,
get me out of here.
Time to go.
We've got to go.
I think this is, and we started off the show this way, and we'll continue to bring this up. Tug and I talked about how this was never in its entirety about drugs. We were talking about that in early parts of December all the way until we hit our break. The drugs was the easy thing for Norm and Norma to understand. Drug boats.
And to be on board for.
Well, yeah, look at this fentanyl. It's killing Americans. And people would say, well, it's not coming from there. Well, no, the drugs are coming from there. They go to Mexico, it gets mixed, and here's what's happening. This was always the biggest deal, was the geopolitical end of this in making sure, and we talked about it for the better part of 6 weeks, keeping the Iranians, the Chinese, and the Russians, and the Cubans, who are going to be suffering this next, out of this hemisphere.
That's right.
That's what it was always about.
It's as simple as that. It's nothing more than that right there. Are there all kinds of things that'll happen that are good for America because of that? Yes.
And by the way, the Chinese, because of their aggression towards Taiwan, they can't attack Taiwan if they don't have the energy to do so. Part of what they were doing in Venezuela was lining out better energy deals with a narco-terrorist state while also having a foothold in this hemisphere. You went ahead and made a move that has made the Chinese have to sit back and go, yeah, maybe we shouldn't mess with the Americans right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually strong.
They got quite a track record on military operations. Very strategic. There's no longer the Joe Biden botched Afghanistan withdrawal. That's not what our military does. We have leadership in positions that are planners. They are experienced, and they know what the mission is, and they accomplish the goal. That is the capabilities of the United States military when used correctly.
I want to just make sure that, since we're going to compare apples to apples, right? So the previous SecDef disappeared for 48 hours.
Having heart surgery.
Having heart surgery. And no one knew where he was.
It's called AWOL, by the way.
And that was just kind of swept under the rug.
Yep. Nothing to say here.
While you also had Abbey Gate go on, and 13 Americans were murdered by terrorism, as we had the most botched leaving of Afghanistan and left them with billions of dollars in equipment. This Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, now has a hit on Iran and also removing the terrorist dictator of Venezuela, and not one person lost.
How about let's compare Lloyd Austin to the weekend Fox anchor.
Let's compare.
Isn't it ridiculous that the weekend Fox anchor is so much more capable than the man Joe Biden hired to be the Secretary of Defense?
A lot of times, and this is a credit to all of you out there, a lot of you are better at this stuff than the normal politicians, because you would look at it from a sane perspective. You are not tainted by politics. And so when it comes down to how you view things, you view it in a very real-world perspective. That's what Pete Hegseth brought to this. That is the reason why Donald Trump has been elected 3 times, 2 times, 3 times. Because you're looking at this in a business-like standpoint. How do you get this done? Here's how we do it. And you're seeing the rewards of it.
That's right. And the Monroe Doctrine, that's what it boils down to. That's what it comes out of. Los has brought this up so many times, over and over and over again. The fact that we are not going to allow foreign powers to operate in our hemisphere.
No. And when we looked at, remember, this was early on. First off, it was the Gulf of America. And everyone's like, that's a shirt in Florida. Okay, that's fun.
Let me tell you, those Onward Reserve opened up a store on 30A thinking that they were going to sell bathing suits and really nice polos. They've sold more Gulf of America merch than they know what to do with.
I think that's kind of cool. But how did this go? It was putting our chest out there. Why did we have discussions about acquiring Greenland?
Which are still happening right now.
Still going on.
Actually, that probably is going to be another big talking point in the next few weeks.
And why is that? Because that increases our level of defense over the Arctic Pole. We are able to, from a missile defense perspective, we now have a larger level of defense. That is the reason why. Everything right now in this hemisphere is about America first. And it's about our defense. And so, yeah, we've got problems in this country in terms of the amount of money that we've now are starting to figure out. What started with Doge, and it keeps moving forward.
Is all the fraud.
How much fraud we're dealing with. And I'm hopeful that over the next year, that is going to be situated. But as far as what's going on around the world and how we're going to be viewed, don't mess with us.
That's right.
Don't mess with the Americans.
So it used to be...
They don't have a cadaver in the office anymore.
It used to be walk softly, carry a big stick. Now it's speak loudly, carry a big stick. It's slight change.
It's what it is.
Just slight change.
And again, this is what I voted for. Now, did I vote for us to be involved all around the world in terms of boots on the ground? It's always been the same thing. You and I talk about it. I don't want boots on the ground.
You didn't have to have any boots on the ground. I mean, it was a 2.5-hour operation. Over and done with.
And what have I said that we do well? Blow S up. Okay? That's what we do well. All right? And the Venezuelans are happy that we blow S up.
Dancing in the streets. And God bless them. I understand why. When we continue the Venezuelan connection to voter fraud in America. on Extra 106.3.
When political discourse gets ugly, count on Extra 106.3 to be the voice of reason when tempers flare. The violent rhetoric from the left won't change our mission. It won't affect our hearts, and it won't stop us from being the voice of our community. Proud to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
The 2026 State Indoor Winter Games are coming, and we need volunteers. Special Olympics Georgia needs your help. January 30th and 31st in Marietta and Cartersville during the 2026 State Indoor Winter Games. Come get involved in a great cause and help our Georgia athletes. There are several positions available. Get involved in any sport you'd like, from basketball and bowling to gymnastics, powerlifting, and pickleball. Sign up today and join our team. Learn more and register at SpecialOlympicsGA.org. That's SpecialOlympicsGA.org.
John Michaels here, and if you want the perfect holiday gift for the sports fan, the tailgater, or the bourbon lover, this is it. 13 Heroes Premium Spirits honors the brave 13 Americans lost in Afghanistan, and every bottle makes a difference. Order direct to consumer at 13heroes.com, and a donation will be made to the Warrior Alliance for every bottle sold. Their Delta 7 and Alpha single barrel are clean, smooth, and award-winning, and guaranteed to exceed expectations. Give back. Give great bourbon. Order now at 13heroes.com. 13 Heroes, American spirit done right.
I'm Ashley DeVorkin with a Fox Celebrity Profile with Dave Franco, Ariana Greenblatt, and Justice Smith of the magic-filled franchise continuation Now You See Me, Now You Don't. This time, the Four Horsemen unite with a new generation of illusionists for a global mission to stop a corrupt diamond heiress.
I want to talk movie magic. What was the first movie that you saw that made you think, oh my goodness, how are they doing that? That is movie magic.
The first that comes to mind for me is when I saw Jurassic Park in theaters.
That's a good one.
I remember watching Fight Club and being blown away.
Yes.
Just like realizing like you can do that in movies. You can be this weird and like be this kind of irreverence and crazy.
I feel like Wizard of Oz was like one of the first movies I feel like ever to have so much magic in it, to do something so ahead of its time. Yeah, that movie obviously was crazy, but you look at the visuals and the colors and everything, and it's pretty magical.
Ashley DeVorkin, Fox News.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A missing 2-year-old found in New Hampshire thanks to a dedicated volunteer and his loyal canine companion makes today's Dean's List. New Hampshire Fish and Game and State Police received a call about the missing toddler who had been gone for almost an hour. The little girl was playing in her front yard with her 2 dogs when the gate was somehow open and she wandered off. Close to 100 volunteers were called in to search for the missing child, including Jeremy Corson and his loyal dog Freya from the New England Search and Rescue. And they were the ones that finally found her. Thankfully, the little girl was unharmed and so happy to see Freya greeting her.
Freya loves kids. This is why I signed up to do it. It's taken me 13 years to get here, but I wouldn't be anywhere else but that spot.
Thanks to all the volunteers and the other agencies that were on hand to help. Jeremy and Freya, you made today's Doggy Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
Fox on Film.
I'm Michelle Polino.
What do you want?
Ghost shirt. Americana is streaming on Stars. The film stars Sydney Sweeney, Halsey, and Paul Walter Hauser. It follows local outsiders and outcasts in a small South Dakota town whose lives violently intertwine after a rare artifact falls onto the black market.
Do I know you?
In theaters, The Dutchman, set on a New York subway. It centers on an encounter between a man and woman who match wits in a sexualized game of cat and mouse that leads to a violent conclusion. Also in theaters, We Bury the Dead. After a catastrophic military disaster, the dead don't just rise, they hunt. The military insists they're harmless. But when Ava, played by Daisy Ridley, enters a quarantine zone searching for her missing husband, she discovers a horrifying truth. The undead are growing more violent and more dangerous by the hour. That's Fox on Film on Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 5th. More than $300 million in federal emergency funds are headed to communities in Georgia to aid recovery from Hurricane Helene damage. The release of these funds was delayed, which local officials say caused additional hardship for residents. The storm caused significant damage when it moved through the state in September 2024. Authorities in Paulding County arrested 10 suspects and seized more than $1 million in illegal drugs, including fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and over 10,000 pills. Investigators also confiscated 71 firearms, a live hand grenade, and about $250,000 in cash during the operation. The quantity of the drugs seized was estimated to be enough to kill nearly 4 million people. And Georgia teens report lower alcohol use than the national average, with about 12.5% saying they drank in the last month compared to over 15% nationally. They also have a lower binge drinking rate than the national figure at roughly 6.9%. Today's weather mostly cloudy with a high of 62. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here on this first full week of the new year. I don't know how long you're supposed to say Happy New Year. I guess I'll say Happy New Year, but it's probably the last time you hear it. Because I don't know when it cuts off, Los. Is there a cutoff time? Do we know? Is there a...
No, not at all, right?
Can you say it? How do you say it through the week? Almost today feels like the last time.
I mean, the fact that it fell basically on Thursday.
I love the way it came down.
So New Year's on Thursday, first day back in the office for a lot of people on Friday. I wasn't going to do it. So to me, you then get through Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday, this is the first time you're like, hey, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we could go a few days.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think, I got to tell you, I don't think I'll continue. I think I'm done with
Go
it.
right up to the end of June.
Okay.
Well,
Happy New Year.
This is not a lady's birthday.
Okay.
And then you can start Merry Christmas.
Okay. All right.
In July.
Seems like a stretch.
Listen, I've tried to put an end to that sort of stuff in the house. Now, I can't do it with my now 15-year-old. Okay, so she had Christmas. A few days later, it's her birthday.
Yep.
She basically stretched everything out birthday-wise for like 2 weeks.
Smart kid.
So like this past Saturday, Friday she had a sleepover. Saturday she had a dinner with all of her volleyball friends. So it was her and a bunch of these girls. They all played together. They've been playing club for years, and so they were all together. And so it was really cool for them all to get together and do their thing. So that was like a week's worth of celebration time. All right, some people push it into the entire month. Like, I don't know if Jure does this when it's like the month of Jure. You know?
Because my birthday is this month. And
I ignore my birthday as much as I can.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even tell anybody. I'm just like, okay, it's here. All I ever do is, can I play some golf or can I get some dinner?
Yeah.
And for a day, leave me alone.
Yeah, right. Like for my birthday at the end of the month, my wife knows it's Waffle House. That's where I go for my
Waffle House birthday.
Yeah,
cool.
every year.
There you go.
That's all I want.
But you don't turn it into an extended period of time.
No.
It's kind of like that idea of New Year's. We're going to do it for a few days.
Yeah. And then be done.
Good. And then we're over with.
I feel like today's the last day for me. Anyway, today, like I may not say it again today, but I'm done.
I just like throwaway stuff. For instance, I like when I'm able to just say, hey, Merry Christmas. It's both a greeting and a goodbye.
That's right. Yeah.
Same thing. Hey, Happy New Year.
Zoop. Out the
Okay.
door.
Well, right. Same idea. When it's gone, now I have to come up with something different.
You could just go with what's up.
No,
because what's up works too, man. It's a hey, what's up as you keep going.
But what happens when you are signing off? I don't say, hey, what's up?
No, I know, but
hey, Happy New Year.
No, but like like if I'm passing somebody because I say hello to everybody walking through the bathroom.
Give me something that's utility.
Yeah, I'm always like, hey man, have a good day, or hey, what's up? As I keep walking.
Okay, hey, have a good day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that.
Bueno. Adios.
Yeah, adios amigo. That's
some culture.
Man, I got to tell you, Maduro, he's got an adios amigo right now. He just
sure does.
He just said bye to the people at the jailhouse.
They just brought him into the jailhouse, which was fun to take a look at that.
And he's going to be headed over to, he's in the air in a helicopter right now, headed over to be, I guess, arraigned. That happens at noon, in court today at noon, which was important because the FBI was with those special operators, the Delta Force, who went in to get Maduro, and they read his Miranda rights. So understand this is a law enforcement operation.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Awfully nice of them to let him get dressed up, too.
Yeah, right. He had the sweatsuit. It looked
matching sweatsuit.
That's right. It looked like he was headed on Delta somewhere.
I mean, I do wonder about how that went down because Donald Trump did bring up that he was fortified. And so they had to, I would imagine, breach their way into wherever he was at.
Oh, yeah.
And then you wonder, all right.
He was trying to get to the safe room and wasn't able to. The Delta Force stopped him.
How many people did Delta end up
eliminating?
Sending them to meet
Jesus.
Cocaine Jesus.
That's right.
In order to get a hold of him. It's got to be a crazy story.
Yeah, no, one day we'll find out. There'll be a podcast about it at some point. Years down the road.
Can I bring up something that I only saw this online, and when I read it, I said, okay, that's mean-spirited, but it's also
kind of funny.
Somebody went ahead and took a shot at the Navy. They took a shot at the SEALs.
What?
I saw this.
Devils. I missed this.
And their point was, it's a good thing we sent in Delta, because had we sent in the Navy, we would have lost a bunch of people, and then Mark Wahlberg would have had to make a movie about it.
That's actually pretty good.
I was like,
pretty good.
All right, I get the fact that there is always going to be, especially in that operator class, there's going to be a, hey, we're the ones that are on top. And I get it. Again, everybody pulls for each other, but at the same time, you do get this faction of, hey, we're the ones who handle this.
Well, I mean,
SEAL Team 6 is the one who goes and gets Obama. We're the ones who get it.
Right.
Delta is just
Delta
as capable.
Force, they specialize in counterterrorism, hostage rescue, which is what we did. We rescued that man.
We rescued him from freedom.
Direct action and special recon. So, I mean, it was kind of their specialty. That's kind of what
what they do.
The Navy SEALs go in, there ain't nobody getting rescued.
Like that.
They're going to fix a lot of problems and leave.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. They're real good at it. No
what
doubt.
I found really good about this is Venezuela has a bunch of air defense systems that they bought from Russia.
Right.
And our air units took out all of the air defense systems.
Right.
So
Immediately.
stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
And then flip the switch on the grid.
Yeah.
Dude, it went it's very dark. It's dark.
Well, that was the complaint that was going on the left. And I think a lot of it rings hollow. If you want to tell me that you're concerned about boots on the ground, you and I can agree.
Sure.
We would, Tug and I talk about it all the time. We have no interest in forever wars. We have become the doves. We are those people. We are not a part of the military-industrial complex. We have no interest in American lives routinely being put in harm's way.
Without a doubt.
And again, there's a difference in operations and routine.
That's right.
Routine is you're there all the time. With that being said, the left was so upset about a successful operation that all they could do is, well, we're bombing Venezuela. No, we're kinetic striking Venezuela to make sure that none of their air defense systems are an issue for any of our troops. And that's
Meaning keeping them safe, fools.
Yes.
Meaning keeping our military members safe. That's what you do. That's the smart way of handling this.
Bombing did not continue the next day
that's right.
or today or anything. Here was an operation. It's over with. And now, and I think this is smart, the Trump administration, and Donald Trump most notably, has brought up, like, hey, we're in charge. They're letting the Venezuelans know, hey, it's on y'all, but just so you know, we got influence here.
Absolutely. And that's the reason, if you're wondering why Donald Trump has not said it will be one of the two people, the woman or the man that won elections in Venezuela, because if they do that, then it leads to, hey, they're using this as a regime change. The Trump administration is intentionally not naming a person because it's not up to them. They're saying it will be up to the Venezuelan people. We will guide this to get to free and fair elections. And then you don't have to worry about that showing up in the court case against Maduro, because this is a law enforcement operation.
Well,
understand why that's happening.
Two different administrations, not just the Trump administration, the Biden administration viewed this person as a criminal.
$25 million bounty.
This was not a head of state.
That's right.
This is someone that, over the course of what has gone on in the last several years, you've had, as the rise of communism has gone on in Venezuela and stolen as much from the Venezuelan people. We brought up the numbers. You had, before any of this had occurred, in the developing world, they had the highest standard of living.
Up until 1975, that's when things started really changing.
80% of what they were previously making even 10 years ago is not there anymore.
That's right. They're at 20% capacity as far as oil output in their country right now.
Yeah. You've had a dictator, a narco-terrorist who is running an organization that is running things as a communist who is in charge of the country. And when he was voted out, he stayed in anyway.
Like a dictator would.
Oh, weird.
Odd the way that works.
Day one dictator, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. But speaking of elections, because it will be a big deal for the Venezuelans to be able to elect whoever they see fit when the country is stabilized. They will be a wealthy nation again, I do believe. But there was incredible influence that was happening down in Venezuela when it comes to our own elections, Los.
Yeah, and I listen. Let's go back to basically now 6 years ago. Sidney Powell was representing Donald Trump, and she was the one who kept going on. Now, it wasn't Fox, because Fox wasn't doing any of this stuff.
If you recall, they
distanced from this.
Stepped away. Yep.
Sidney Powell was sued by Dominion Voting Systems because she was on to what was occurring. Now, this is the other end of the story. All right? This is the Paul Harvey portion, where what has gone on in Venezuela between Smartmatic and the CIA. This is not tinfoil hat stuff. Part of the reason why we defunded USAID and why a lot of countries around the world were happy about it is because we couldn't influence what was going on in these countries as much as we could before. We were the ones that were structuring their elections. We were the ones that were buying preference to make sure that we had advantageous scenarios for the United States. And we should. That's how it should be. But we were doing it in very dark and nefarious ways. So by the time we got to 2020, the same stuff that we were doing around the world was done to us here. That's why when you hear about election rigging, you're like, well, why do they keep bringing that up? Because the election was rigged. All right.
Bingo.
Everything that we had done around the world got visited here. So take a listen. This is Sidney Powell. This is 6 years ago. And she's bringing up the whole Dominion voting systems and how this was being done.
Can hardly wait to put forth all the evidence we have collected on Dominion, starting with the fact it was created to produce altered voting results in Venezuela for Hugo Chavez, and then shipped internationally to manipulate votes for purchase in other countries, including this one. It was funded by money from Venezuela and Cuba, and China has a role in it also. We have staggering statistical evidence. We have staggering testimony from witnesses, including one who was personally in briefings when all of this was discussed and planned, beginning with Hugo Chavez and how it was designed there, and then saw it happening in this country. As soon as the state shut down on election night and stopped counting, those are the states where the most egregious problems occurred. We also need to look at, and we're beginning to collect evidence on the financial interests of some of the governors and secretaries of state who actually bought into the Dominion systems to line their own pockets by getting a voting machine in that would either make sure their election was successful or they got money for their family from it. Well, for fraud this serious, I think even if the states are stupid enough to go ahead and certify the votes where we know the machines were operating and producing altered election results, then they will be set aside by the fraud also. I mean, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of votes. President Trump won this election in a landslide. It's going to be irrefutable. Patriots are coming forward faster than we can collect their information with testimony they're willing to give under oath about how their votes were stolen and how the machines operated. They were updated the night of the election, sometimes after the election. We've got statistical evidence that shows hundreds of thousands of votes being just put in and replicated. There needs to be a massive criminal investigation, and it's going to affect millions of voters and election.
She was not wrong, and to extend it, that's why January 6th was necessary, to get you to shut up.
And quit asking questions. Because they will put you in jail if you do.
Because it was all rigged out of Venezuela. And so that's a tertiary issue. That's drugs. Okay.
Yep.
Drugs. That's what was sold to Norm and Norma.
Yep.
Voting systems. The reason why that Elon Musk knew that Donald Trump was going to win the election wasn't because Elon Musk bought the election. No, it's because we solidified making sure that all the games that were being played out as Venezuela would not be able to be played during the 2024 election.
So many reasons that we did what we had to do down there with Nicolas Maduro. Between the tertiary things that you bring up and then the influence of the Chinese, the influence of the Russians, the Iranians, and then Cuba to a degree, but all of that was such a big message to the world that we are done playing with y'all. You heard Marco Rubio said it. This president doesn't play games. He gets things done. And that's exactly, talking about what you voted for, it's exactly what I voted for.
And it was so easy. I asked the question once again, why didn't Joe do it?
He had no desire.
No interest in it.
No interest in doing it. That's exactly
because of what Venezuela represents to the rest of the left.
That's exactly right.
Suckers.
Crazy leftists on Trump being worse than Maduro next on Extra 1063.
Extra 1063 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. The NFL playoffs are set to begin, but the Atlanta Falcons are cleaning house despite their 4-game winning streak to end the season at 8-9. The team has fired head coach Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot. The Falcons started the season 6-3 before faltering in the middle of the season. As for the Atlanta Hawks, they're in action tonight north of the border as they match up with the Toronto Raptors. The Hawks are 17-20 on the season. Tip-off is set for 7:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Ain't nothing beats the cozy comfort of a warm fireplace on a cool Georgia night. Tug here for Chimney Solutions. But before you light that fire, make sure the chimney's clean, safe, and ready with my friends at Chimney Solutions. Did you know that a dirty and damaged chimney could lead to dangerous carbon monoxide leaks or even chimney fires? Don't take that chance. Chimney Solutions certified technicians use state-of-the-art equipment to ensure your home and family are protected. Chimney Solutions, keeping Georgia homes safe, warm, and beautiful for over 25 years.
So your New Year's resolution was to slow down on the drinking. Now you're in a jail cell facing a DUI. Time to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. A Second Chance will get your loved one home quickly. For 20 years, they've been helping folks with 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham and are available 24/7. For fast, professional, discreet services, call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or visit atlbail.com. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us.
How about a simple New Year's resolution? One that even I was able to achieve. Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You're going to feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look into that mirror, and you need to know what it feels like. And now, from Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment to their highly experienced team, they are the team that I personally recommend and trust in hair restoration. Did I mention your new hair is guaranteed to grow and can grow for life? How about celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 872-217-HAIR. Again, that's 872-217-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
This is Fox on Justice. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan is now a convicted felon after a jury found her guilty of interfering with federal agents trying to arrest an illegal immigrant outside her courtroom in April. Dugan's high-powered defense team ultimately didn't put up much of a defense, calling just 4 witnesses and making their case in less than an hour before handing it over to the jury. The verdict marks a major victory for the Trump administration, which has vowed to prosecute any officials who obstruct immigration enforcement. Here's Brad Schimmel, the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Wisconsin, after the verdict came down.
I don't see her as a victim. She made choices. She knew what the policy was, and the policy was not.
Dugan is facing up to 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $250,000, and as a convicted felon, she legally will no longer be allowed to serve as a judge in Wisconsin. I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
It's Fox Wheels.
A new survey by YouGov shows that car dealerships have more work to do to close deals in the new year. That 63% of Americans are avoiding dealerships, choosing to buy online, and that transparency and hospitality top the list of car buyer must-haves to return to dealerships. The YouGov report shows that 56% of Americans say transparent pricing at dealerships would make them more likely to purchase from a dealership. 41% say honoring the price shown online once in the store, and no games, no add-ons is a factor. While 34% say atmosphere or in-store hospitality would also make them more likely to buy a vehicle in person. And while test drives remain one of the biggest draws for customers to come to dealerships, YouGov reports the most common reason for walking into a dealership or showroom today, it's not for browsing a new model, but rather for servicing or repairs. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Georgia politicians, if you want to win your election, the path to victory runs through Extra 106.3. Extra listeners are some of the most engaged, active in their communities, and outspoken on their beliefs, especially when it comes time to vote. So now's the time to get involved before our listeners move on to someone else. Tell the candidate you're voting for that if they want to win, the path to victory runs through Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. If you missed any of the show so far to this point, go back and listen to it because we've discussed everything at length, the things that you will not hear in the mainstream media.
And we told you on December 17th, when we signed off, you were going to miss us. But now we're back. The whole family's together.
That's right.
Everybody doing the thing again.
The whole hee-haw gang is here for you.
And you might have been curious, and we're not influencers in this way. Tug and I don't ever get up in the morning, we're like, let's tell people what to think. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I'm going to tell you what I think.
That's right.
But I am hopeful that you come here because you want to have complicated things made very easy to understand and explain. And so I hope that when you get to the water cooler, you're driving into work, hopefully 8 a.m., 9 a.m., either way, that you are looking at these matters that we've been talking about. And when you have perhaps your liberal friend bring up, hey, what the Americans are doing is illegal, you can bring up, no, it's not. In fact, the Biden administration was looking to do the same thing, except they didn't.
Yeah, they chose not to.
They put a $25 million bounty on a guy that they had no interest.
No intention of pursuing whatsoever.
You remember when we had the abduction story that had gone on in Africa, and all that and this was way back during the Obama administration, and what they did is they hashtagged, because at the time that was like a big deal.
Bring home the girls, was that?
Yeah,
it?
like return our girls.
Yeah. Rather Cody or Comey or something.
Rather than doing anything about it, it was, well, let's just put out some pictures and let's put out some hashtags. Like, this is how much we care. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put an X on my hand because I'm against slavery.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Or you can actually do something about it.
Or you can do something about it. The Biden administration put a $25 million bounty on Maduro because they had zero interest in actually taking him out of power. The Trump administration actually got it done.
That's right. In 2.5 hours. Incredible planning, incredible skill. It was unreal what our military was able to do. And if you're China right now, you're probably going, when's the last operation that our military has actually run? Those people, now that they have a leadership in place, they're doing things that, like, nobody else can do. And they're doing it flawlessly. They're doing it strategically. They're doing it surgically even. The success in Iran and now the success in Venezuela should have every head of state going, I don't know that we want to mess with these guys too much.
I think a lot of this is mentality. And I credit you, Tug. You were the first person that I heard when Pete Hegseth started talking about how we were going to be conducting ourselves moving forward. You were like, hell, I'd sign back up.
Put my Cracker Jacks back on.
You were like, I'm back in.
Dude.
And you spent 5 years pointing out you wouldn't serve in the military under the Biden administration, nor would you suggest it to anyone.
Dude, I remember when one of our coworkers said, hey, my son's going to Army, going to West Point. I wanted to be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And yet deep down, I was like, oh wow, that's bad news. Because he is going to be misled. He's going to not learn the military the way it should be learned or should be taught. And as soon as Trump was elected and he started shaking things out, I went back to that person. I said, now your son is in better hands.
And think about what Pete Hegseth ended up telling our military. You're war fighters, and we are going to make sure that you are deadly and you are home safe.
That's right.
What have they been?
There's no more politics infiltrating. There's no more men.
Not worried about your trans views.
All the
whether or not you got all that crap
that does not matter and does not win wars. That if anything, it distracts from it.
I don't think that Maduro was in his residence, and as our Delta Force are breaching the door, he's wondering, is it going to be that person in a dress?
Yeah, no.
Is that person tucking?
Oh, yuck.
No, he was not.
Yep.
He was, these are effective war fighters, and they're in my residence for my wife and I, and we're going on a ride.
I'm trying to get into this safe room as quickly as I can. Little did he know the Delta Force was ready and equipped to take down the door of the safe room.
I don't believe that the Iranian scientists who are working to develop a nuclear weapon ever thought to themselves, that person who just dropped a precision weapon through our ventilation system to implode our nuclear complex, are they them?
They don't care.
No.
They don't care.
Nor should we.
No, we shouldn't.
And we don't anymore.
We focus on
good.
The mission. We focus on fighting wars and winning and getting our men and women home safely. And we did it in 2.5 hours.
You know, and this is another aspect of this, Tug. You have had that the left has positioned the things that we talk about as somehow being hate speech, as somehow being wrong or mean or evil or, all that sort of stuff. And again, in a comfortable world, we take those slings and arrows and we're just like, all right, that's fine. Call me whichever you want. Like, I love the fact that you've turned from a guy who was like, I want to make everybody happy to, I'm going to make me and my family happy, and I'm going to talk about what I want to.
Because I know we got fools that don't care about anything, including individuality, being able to succeed on your own 2 feet in America. They don't care about that.
And so, with all that being pointed out, when the rubber hits the road and it's about life and death, look how good we are when we focus on what needs to be focused on.
Focus on the right things. That's exactly
right.
right.
And you can bring up all the other stuff about how Tug and Los, they talk about this and that's hate speech. I'm like, all right, I'll tell you what. We got to make sure that Iran does not accelerate towards a nuclear weapon. That's real stuff. This isn't about whether or not you get to have your drag show story time and all that sort of stuff. We've got to make sure that we have somebody who is in South America who is aligning with the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, and the Cubans, and we can't have that. Now the rubber meets the road. What do you want? Do you want the person who's concerned about which bathroom you get to use, or are you concerned about the people that can actually get S done?
Crazy thing, leftists are worried about which bathroom you get to use.
And all it does is it ends up putting them in an even brighter light of how useless the mentality is.
I think you're exactly right. I think the American people hear these libs, these Democrats who were asked, would you trade Donald Trump for Nicolas Maduro? Most of them said, yeah.
Would you trade Trump for Maduro?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Trump. I think Maduro was democratically elected.
Probably, yeah, sure.
More than likely, yes, of course.
If there's a Nicolas Maduro out here who's going to bring us to revolution, I will support that movement.
I would rather have a bus driver in charge.
There's one last one really good.
Okay.
Nicolas Maduro could come and be our president? Yeah. Oh, any day. Any day. Look, all the check marks are there. He's not white. Okay, he's a minority. Okay. He looks a little too much like Saddam Hussein, though.
Ain't wrong with the big mustache. Ain't wrong about that. But these are the type of people that we're talking about. The ones who have their eye in the wrong place. Never. Now, granted, I think most of those are probably paid protesters because they have all the matching signs. So they don't even believe the crap that they're saying because they're getting paid to do it and paid to say it. But I do believe that there are leftists in, say, New York City or some of the coastal towns, Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, San Francisco, that do believe that would accept an actual dictator. Now, this is the same people that march for no kings that would say, yes, I'll take the dictator, Nicolas Maduro, over Donald Trump. That's the absurdity of the left and where they have their eye on the wrong ball every time.
Let them talk.
Yeah.
The more they talk, and this is now grown. It used to be where it was just Hillary. Hillary Clinton, the more she would talk, the less the people in America liked her. The same thing happened to Kamala Harris. The more she talked, the more the people were like, I don't like that person. Let them talk. Let them share their views. You're overwhelmingly going to find, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the show, because I've got family members that, they're out there and whatever it is. And the fun part was that you realize these aren't like hateful, evil people, but it's always just under the surface when they start talking. And it doesn't take long if you give them enough rope for them to hang themselves.
Each time.
With their own beliefs.
That's right. Because they are certifiably crazy.
What do you want? I want to leave you alone. I want to leave me alone.
That's right.
What do you want?
A dictator.
Exactly.
Maduro. You just heard them in their own words. Yeah, right.
What do I want? Who sounds more evil?
That's exactly right. When we continue on Extra 106.3, keep the people poor and dependent. It's the leftist way, really. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, a couple of thoughts on Maduro and this amazing weekend. As I've said of Donald Trump, I don't like what he is, but I like what he does. If the guys would let me on the air more, I could say a lot more. But at 2:30 Saturday morning, the printing presses started up all over this country, printing those no blood for oil, no war in Venezuela, free Maduro signs. So offshoots of the American Communist Party could stage their little demonstrations. They had quite a network and they were ready to rip. And the mind-numbed, dumb as a box of rocks leftists in this country, a month or so ago, they're carrying no kings signs. Now they're saying, return the dictator to Venezuela. How stupid do they look? What's more, when Obama sent American troops in on the ground into Pakistan to kill bin Laden, did the Democrats gripe, oh, they should have cleared that operation through the Congress first? No, Obama, their God, did that. This is Trump. He can't do anything without Democrat damnation. If he came up with a cure for cancer, they would be upset because he didn't clear it through Congress before he presented it to the world. And oh, what about this stuff? You're going to run Venezuela? Oh, no. We're just going to get rid of Maduro, and then we're going to let Venezuela descend into the humanitarian hellhole it was under Maduro by letting his chosen sycophants take over. I have enjoyed this whole thing immensely. First, because Trump told Maduro, you effed around, now you're going to find out. Secondly, because the left is beside themselves with anguish over this. Yeah, we really need those people running this country, don't we? First time in a while, I actually wish I had a show. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is House Call for Health. Staying safe on an e-bike and e-scooter. Doctors in Florida say they see injuries related to those every single day. They're sending a warning to users and potential buyers that the bikes and their injuries are more serious than you might think. Dr. Tracy Ryan works in emergency medicine at Orlando Health Bayfront in St. Pete and says e-bikes and e-scooters are like motorcycles, fast and exposed. And they're seeing a spike in injuries coming to the ER from teens and adults. Dr. Ryan says these are serious injuries, intracranial bleeds, so blood on the brain, blood on the major organs around the heart, around the lungs, around the spleen and the liver. Very common on e-bikes. Law enforcement around Tampa Bay also dealing with these crashes and emphasizing the rules are the same as those for cars. Police recommend wearing reflective gear and having rear and front lights on the bike to make you as visible as possible to other drivers. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
He just got a helicopter ride in New York City. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife, both flown from their jail cells in Brooklyn to where they'll be arraigned today.
In federal court here in Lower Manhattan to answer to charges including narco-terrorism and conspiracy to import cocaine. His wife, Celia Flores, is also due in court on the cocaine conspiracy charge. Both were captured early Saturday during a U.S. military raid in Caracas before being brought to New York City. Maduro's lawyers are expected to contest the legality of his arrest. They're expected to argue that he is immune from prosecution as a sovereign head of state.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers outside the courthouse. Congressional leaders will get a briefing later today from the secretaries of war and state and others on that military operation that captured Maduro. Many Democrats have called it illegal, but not Senator John Fetterman.
It's positive, and I can't just condemn it just because I happen to be a Democrat.
Fetterman also just told Fox,
I think it was appropriate and surgical. This wasn't a war.
President Trump's calling Venezuela a mess, telling reporters on Air Force One,
don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
We're in charge.
Maduro's VP is now the acting president in Venezuela. Fox's Aisha Hasni reports from the White House.
Delcy Rodriguez is cooperating with U.S. officials. The president made those comments on his way back to the White House late last night from Mar-a-Lago, and he added what would happen to Rodriguez if she did not cooperate.
I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro.
So there's been some criticism from Venezuelan activists in the community that allowing Maduro's former VP, Rodriguez, to take power is not change at all.
President Trump also told reporters he thinks Cuba looks like it's ready to fall, and he again said the U.S. needs to take control of Greenland for national security. It's a territory of Denmark. The Danish Prime Minister reacted, saying, stop the threats. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Hey, it's your old pal Neil Bortz. I'm back on Atlanta's only conservative news talk station, Extra 106.3. Okay, here's more of the Morning Extra.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Happy New Year to you. Welcome back to the routine, if you will.
Is that not a critical element, reading reviews? Because I want to read...
I struggle with it because I think most are bought and paid for.
I just want to read the really bad ones.
Okay.
To have an idea.
Right, to get now, what some of them, really goes on.
Some of them, it's like, okay, Karen, I get it. You're upset.
Yeah.
But I want to see, and because I'm looking into a couple of hotels/motels.
Motel. That's where you go straight in from the parking lot.
In the Alabama area, because I don't want to have to drive the hour to the area that we're playing at and then an hour back over to my in-laws. I'd rather just spend the $100.
Yes, absolutely, dude. It's I can't even believe this was even a discussion. I thought that would have been done.
I agree. In fact, what I will run through in gas, I'll make up for by just staying there.
That's right. And you don't drive while you're tired. Drive an hour first thing in the morning. I remember when my son would play baseball at Lake Point. And it's about an hour and 15 from us.
Same thing.
You get up early in the morning, and every time it's like, why didn't we just go over here and stay?
We didn't do this until this past year. We would normally make the hour trip, hour and 15 out to Lake Point, and then drive back home. This past year was the first time we actually stayed on site at one of the hotels.
Much easier.
Game changer.
Dude, that's what you need to do.
In fact, when we had a break, we had like a 2-hour break in between matches as we're now getting into volleyball season. So shout out all the volleyball parents and travel parents and all of y'all. We actually would leave Lake Point, go to the hotel, go have some beers,
get lunch, get beers
in the hotel with the other dads, and then dad crew would come back over to the facility at Lake Point to go watch the tournament.
Dude, it's the best.
It's good.
It's
great.
Good, and then you just got to tell the other parents where you're staying, and then that same thing replicates. The same thing happens.
Everything keeps saying exceptional, really well done, and then here's the 4 out of 10.
Oh,
and then there's a 2 out of 10. Let's see. Place was horrible. The only redeeming thing was the staff.
Oh, well, that's good.
Okay, the room's a little gross. That's fine.
Most of them are. Even the ones that don't look gross are probably gross.
Here we go. Breakfast was a joke.
Yeah.
Nothing much good. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to eat that anyway. Yeah.
I don't care about the breakfast. You're gonna give somebody 4 out of 10 because you didn't like the breakfast there?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nutso. Yeah, but look, people love to find something to complain about. See, that we talked about this earlier, right? Living your life to find something to complain about is not good for your health. Those people that are raising Cain and take the time. Who takes the time to go say the breakfast was bad at a motel? Of course it was.
Water in room was very weak. Don't care. Room did not smell fresh. Don't have a sense of smell. However, it was very nice to have a microwave and a fridge. 10 out of 10.
There you go. Life just got better. I think that, look.
All right, I'm going to talk to the wife about this.
The people that think that nice hotels are cleaner, and maybe they are to a degree.
It's just a small town. There's nothing that you're used to. I can't find a Holiday Inn.
I just don't believe that upper end hotels are so more well maintained. Like, are they slightly better? Probably. But are they so overwhelmingly better? I don't believe that they are. Now, my wife does. I couldn't convince her otherwise. So it's not like I don't have people in my life that believe that if you stay somewhere that you pay $250 a night, that it's so much better than where you paid $104.
Oh, the Hilton in this particular area, Coleman, Alabama.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sold out.
Yeah.
Not going to be able to do the Hilton.
Yeah, well.
Unless, hey.
Motel, hotel,
who's
holiday.
got a hookup?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Somebody got
Who happens to know somebody that's affiliated with Hilton to make this thing happen?
Or that knows somebody that's got a, an Airbnb that they have in Coleman, Alabama for times just like these.
I didn't even think about that. But I'm not like an
VRB. What about VRBO?
I know as much as I had, rental property in Florida, and we would have that, but we obviously had a company that would manage all this stuff, and they would put us out there on Airbnb and VRBO and everything else. The only time I've ever stayed in one, it was comfortable, was in Tallahassee, and that was after Hurricane Michael, because we couldn't find anywhere to stay in the area, and we were using that place to go back and forth to clean up our property in Florida. But I've never stayed at an Airbnb, VRBO, any other time from there.
But we've never stayed in an Airbnb that I can think of. We've always done VRBO and have been doing that for years, even before, back when it was vacation rentals by owner, back when they spelled it out, and then they, started advertising a bunch, and now just call it by the initials. But there's plenty of that too, man. There's plenty of options and opportunities out there. I see there. Now you're on and I think they've even coined Verbo. So now
it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Good old Verbo.
Back in the day, it wasn't. It was just vacation rental by owner. Back in the day.
Well, now they actually make me put in like the child's ages.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting intense.
Just kind of curious. Just be like, okay, what's in the area?
You can't ever tell. Maybe there's something there. I saw a little donkey on there.
Why you got to look at where I'm trying to stay?
Well, because it was a donkey on the screen.
$467 for one night. Never mind.
Heavens. Good Lord, yeah, we'll stay at the $100.
Everybody's sold out. What is this, like the Masters? Everybody decided that
everybody's going to this volleyball tournament.
It's a big tournament.
See, there you go.
Everybody sold their house.
That's why.
Said, here, go ahead and stay in our place.
It's funny.
Look, they're all sold out.
With my son being in Augusta, they are going to move out of their house for that week of the Masters. This is what you're talking about. And because of that, he doesn't have to pay rent for a month. And they I want to say that the owners of the home are going to share some of the profit with the kids. Like, hey, here's $100 to go to dinner.
Pretty typical.
Because we're going to rent this house for like $2,000.
Because the nicer homes, the golfers actually rent.
That's right.
But it's not just the golfers, it's the broadcasters and everybody else affiliated rents during that week.
I think it's American Express that has this huge spread. and they invite all their advertisers, all their vendors, everybody that's involved. I think that's the one. I could be wrong, but the point is they
got to rent some.
Oh my gosh! And
there's not enough hotel space in Augusta.
They rent everything, and that's why on your taxes there's called the Augusta rule. Like if you rent out your home for a particular amount of time, you'd have to ask your particular financial advisor on how to use that, or if you can use that. But there's a thing called the Augusta rule for that exact reason when it comes to taxes and that sort of stuff. All right. I don't know if you noticed over the weekend that Donald Trump ordered a very strategic extraction of a dictator in Venezuela. Maybe you've not heard of it. Maybe it's gotten by you because you're in holiday mode.
Flat out. So I think this was Saturday morning. Shout out to good, strong April. She was picking up her daughter. My daughter had a sleepover on Friday night, handful of her friends for her birthday.
Nice.
And when she pulled up into our cul-de-sac, she just yells out the window, "Hey, we got Maduro." And it was funny because that was the first time that she had heard about it. It happened middle of the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happened in the middle of the night. And so when I got up that morning, and some of it I saw the night before, and then kind of filled myself in the morning, to then have Mr. Tugglesworth texting me like, "Hey, Trump's going to talk at 11," and we both knew like, okay, here's what's going to happen. But a lot of the world just you tuned out for the time being
because it's the weekend and it's the holidays, and that's the last thing anybody expected.
Yeah,
which is exactly by design. It's just the way it works out perfectly when it does like that.
Surprised you. But and again, I love the fact that, and we had talked about it on this show, Donald Trump a week ago had told Maduro it's time to get out, man.
Even had a phone call. Said, "Hey, here are your exit ramps.
options.
Here are the things that you can do.
If you choose to go to a non-extradition country, go for it."
And he turned it down. How ignorant do you have to be? Did you not notice the armada sitting off your coast?
That was the FO portion.
Yeah, that's right. And it was so funny when Secretary of War, he said he FA and FO'd.
He FO'd on the other end of it.
He found out.
I mean, right now he's walking in shackles in New York, going, "Hey, that
why didn't I just take
the deal
off ramp?
Why didn't I just head to Belize
or wherever and just be done with all
how
this?"
seductive is that sort of power? Where
must be
the armada right off of your coast,
biggest in decades,
and we've had special operators working in that area. Like, for anyone who on the left, and typically it's them who don't understand this. Every time we hit a drug boat, we know exactly what's on it.
And who's on it. Why is that? Because we have assets in the region. This is not willy-nilly. This is not whatever the TV show you watch. This is not how you go about making your plans and your decisions. We do this to a level that you do not understand. So Maduro's sitting back like, it's totally fine. Come get me, cowards.
Good luck with that.
Okay. Done deal.
Okay.
Yes, and now he's wishing he probably had said that. But back in January of last year, so a year ago now, Donald Trump came back into office and started recruiting spies on the ground in Venezuela because he wanted to know what's there, what's going on. We already know a ton. How can we get even closer to Maduro? We're recruiting his people. We're recruiting people that drive taxi cabs in the area of the compound that he lives. We're using signal intelligence. You know that exhaust that companies pay for to market to you? You can also use that for military operations as well.
It's an incredible story.
This is. It's remarkable.
For anyone who was sleeping on this on Friday, and then as we go through it, I think a lot of this comes back to, for those of you that take pride when America does something that's for the good of the world, this is a victory for you.
Absolutely it is.
For the left, it's a problem. And that's what it really just comes down to. Like, at the heart of it, it is a celebration of what we do well versus people that don't want us to do well. Because I can't tell you that when, now, I kind of had a wink, wink, nod, nod when we killed Osama bin Laden because I was like, oh, look, Barack Obama's poll numbers are in the toilet.
Yeah, let's go do something.
Let's go get it.
Rally the.
He's been sitting there for months. We know he's there. This is what they did. All right, so I get that. But still, it was a celebration of what we were able to accomplish with our military forces. And it didn't matter if you voted for that administration or not. You still should be taking pride in that. To think that we've now had 2 operations in the past several months that haven't cost one American life, and yet geopolitically, we're now in charge, and we've now established to the rest of the world, don't mess around with us. These are good things. But the other side looks at it as American weakness is always their biggest priority.
Yeah, because that's what they want. I mean, if you think about New York City specifically, but leftist in general, that's what they wanted. They want what is in Venezuela now that we've just extracted. They want that for New York City. They want that for the United States of America. That's what they wrap your head around the fact that somebody would want to take what Venezuela was, the second most wealthy and a second highest living standards in the Western Hemisphere, behind the United States years ago. They wanted to make that go away, and that way the powerful remain powerful, the people remain poor. They want that for the United States. They voted for it in New York.
So let's get into this with Stephen Miller, because Stephen Miller was doing the talk show circuit over the weekend, and obviously the fraud in Minnesota came up. But I think this is all-encompassing here. When we talk about when you are weak, you now have those that are on high that have all the power and can cause as much disruption. They can run things the way they see them, and logic can go right out the window. And so that is largely what happened in Venezuela, where the people are looking around going, hold on, we were just one of the richest nations in South America. How is it that we're now in breadlines? How is it that this has now occurred? Well, it occurred because dictators, those that were leftists, took charge and made sure to do what leftists do. Take a listen to Stephen Miller, because this is all part of the plan for this country as well.
Why are they engaged in all this? What is their objective here? It's the Somalification of America. In other words, when you see the state of Somalia, that's what they want for America at the end of the day, because it's easier to rule over an empire of ashes than it is for the Democratic Party to rule over a functioning Western, high-trust society with a strong middle class. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalians. Once the elections were decided, right, by clan rivalries and ethnic feuds. Once that happened, the Democrat Party became permanently powerful in Minnesota. They became permanently powerful in the Twin Cities. That's their model for America, to make the whole country into a version of Somalia. And everything they do gets down to that.
Capitalism produces a middle class. Doesn't matter where it's done around the world, it produces a middle class. Now, some people can take middle class as like, well, I don't want to be middle class. No, understand that the middle class is where the money comes from. And ultimately, elections are won based on what the middle class thinks. When you eliminate the middle class, now those on high have all the power, and everybody's low. And so that's what he's pointing out, is that it's easier for the Democrats to run a country, run a state, run a city in which everyone's poor. If there's a middle class, they got problems.
That's right. When you have nothing, the way people in socialist nations do, or in Somalia, per se, if you have nothing, you have no expectation. You have no desire for, you probably have desire. You have no expectation that your desire to do better and be better is going to ever be met.
No, there's no way other than getting through your day-to-day, in which case your lot in life improves. That's the goal of every leftist dictatorship, every leftist group. They want to create a permanent underclass.
Dude, what did the Mamdani, I forget her title. She's the Sia Weaver. She's Mayor Mamdani's tenant director. Will transition from treating property as individual good to a collective good. And then she goes on to say whites especially will be impacted. But that's the whole point, right? We're taking things from you, and we're going to give it to everybody. That way, nobody has anything.
Write this down. It doesn't matter what style of leftist it is. Hardcore communist, liberal, slightly liberal. The biggest enemy of that side is always private property. And how do you get private property? Your ability to work. All right? And earn. So how do I take more from you so that you have less private property? Because private property, in their mind, is the devil.
Well, but think about it. What is your most valuable asset?
Your home.
So what did she just say?
And how did I get the home? Ability to work.
What did she just say? We're going to treat property like your home, your biggest investment, and your biggest value, and we're going to treat it as a collective.
And you wonder why they're partying in the streets of Venezuela, because they're done with this.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 when we come back. Dr. Rich McCormick, who represents Georgia's 7th District. What does a Marine like him, Marine pilot for 20 years, think about this incredible operation? Next on Extra 106.3.
After historic action in Venezuela, the president will have a lot to balance going forward.
The United States conducted an extraordinary military operation to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
From Atlanta to D.C., Extra staff of conservative voices will have the latest updates and the news that matters to you without the mainstream spin. This is your only home for conservative news and talk in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and stream us anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app.
John Michaels here. You know I love passion, toughness, and honoring the people who give everything. That's why 13 Heroes Premium Spirits hits home. It was created for the 13 American heroes we lost in Afghanistan, and this holiday season, you can support their legacy. Order direct from 13heroes.com, where a per bottle donation is going to go straight to the heroes at the Warrior Alliance. And it's guaranteed to exceed expectation as it's clean and award-winning. Make a difference this season. Order today at 13heroes.com. 13 Heroes, honor, strength, and incredible bourbon.
Braves Fest is back on January 31st, presented by Delta. And there's a great lineup of events and activities for everyone. Returning fan favorites include player photo ops, catch on the field, and bowling with the Braves. And fans can enjoy new additions like the player walk and rally, Braves country karaoke, live podcast recordings, and the list goes on. Plus, on January 7th, fans will be able to purchase player autograph sessions. Visit Braves.com/BravesFest to claim your free tickets today. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We have become a highly sought-after turf installation company in the Atlanta and North Georgia luxury residential market. Big reason for that is our installers are ATL Turf Co. employees. We do not outsource labor. They are trained to be experts in the turf installation process, drainage, grading. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Georgia Tech baseball phenom Drew Burress and the Yellow Jackets are ready to take the field this spring after winning the ACC regular season championship last season. Don't miss your chance to watch one of the nation's top talents at McNeese Baseball Park and Russ Chandler Stadium.
Swing, a high fly ball, crank deep left field. That one is ticketed for the parking lot.
Lock in your 2026 season tickets now at RamblingWreck.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 5th. More than $300 million in federal emergency funds are headed to communities in Georgia to aid recovery from Hurricane Helene damage. The release of these funds was delayed, which local officials say caused additional hardship for residents. The storm caused significant damage when it moved through the state in September 2024. Authorities in Paulding County arrested 10 suspects and seized more than $1 million in illegal drugs, including fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and over 10,000 pills. Investigators also confiscated 71 firearms, a live hand grenade, and about $250,000 in cash during the operation. The quantity of the drugs seized was estimated to be enough to kill nearly 4 million people. And Georgia teens report lower alcohol use than the national average, with about 12.5% saying they drank in the last month compared to over 15% nationally. They also have a lower binge drinking rate than the national figure at roughly 6.9%. Today's weather mostly cloudy with a high of 62. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra, joined by Dr. Rich McCormick. He represents Georgia in the 7th District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Dr. McCormick, how are you?
Great to be with you today. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. As a guy that flew helicopters in the United States military and the Marine Corps specifically, how proud were you of this operation and the fact that we only took the slightest amount of damage to one helicopter? We had only a slight injury to one service members, no death. We got in and out in about 2.5 hours. You have to be on cloud 9 going, that's my team.
Well, first of all, amazing. It's almost a miracle to think about it. To think about an operation on that scale, executed to near flawlessness. I'm actually not just proud. I'm a little jealous, quite frankly. I wish I could have been part of that, because that is going to be a movie, and it's going to be something that's almost mythical. It's better than any Avengers movie where literally you're not taking casualties and you're doing a job that's almost like you went into a foreign country, fortified foreign country, and took out basically his Secret Service, got him out of a safe house, and within 2 hours. It's crazy.
Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest. I know the other side wants to talk about how, well, we're going after Venezuela. We're bombing Venezuela. This is all about oil. And I look at this as geopolitically, the Monroe Doctrine is alive, and the stronger that we are in this hemisphere, that's a great thing for America. What are your thoughts on that?
Heck yeah. I mean, this is something I've been talking about for years. The Monroe Doctrine has been dead, really. I mean, we've been in trouble. We've lost our influence in South and Central America in large part. I mean, we have China and Russia had more influence in Venezuela, was growing in Argentina until recently, all through Peru, Cuba, ports of Central America. This is getting to be a very scary place in the world when it's our backyard and we basically lost control of it. We've lost influence. That's really dangerous to us in so many ways, because you can't, for those isolationists out there, just realize that isolationism never has been the answer. For every country that's ever tried it, it's just like communism. For my fellow Republicans who think that you can ignore the rest of the world and it's going to be okay, just remember the same thing you're critical of socialism and communism for never working, neither has isolationism. It will put you in a bad position for trade and influence and everything else you want to get done in this world. So I'm really excited about this for Venezuela. First of all, the people of Venezuela have got to be overjoyed. They're going to see their standard of living instantly rise. That money that's been pilfered in the wealthiest oil nation in the world, the nation that used to have the number 2 GDP per capita in the world. And I used to train with Venezuelan Marines when I first came in the early 90s. Those guys were on our side. They were friendly to us. They were flourishing. They have beautiful terrain, resources, women. I mean, it's just a gorgeous place. And yet they were basically eating their zoo animals, starving, and had an illegitimate president there who cheated his way into the presidency and basically was pilfering the nation. They're going to be a way better off nation. It's going to be good for them, good for us. There's really no downside because of the fact that we're able to do this. This is going to be amazing. They're going to have self-determination back. There'll be a democracy again. I'm excited for them.
The Trump effect is what I want to ask you about next. Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick joining us on the Morning Extra Tug and Los until 10. You had Venezuelans celebrating in Venezuela and across the country in the United States. And then think about this. We had another very strategic operation in Iran, and now the Iranian people are emboldened to be able to protest against the leadership there in Iran. That's what a strong military is setting up this world for, Dr. McCormick.
Yeah, and it's funny when some people call nation building using a very negative connotation. I want to be careful how it's conceived, but if you can support the people, a popular uprising. It's not a Vietnam. It's nothing negative. This is not a Bay of Pigs we're talking about. We're talking about giving the people a chance to take back their country. Iran has been run by thugs. 10% of the people that have guns, they have a theocracy. In other words, run by religious zealots who are dangerous, who are exporting terror all over the world. Iran is literally the worst, most evil regime that you'll see in the world. They literally use their oil reserves to fund the war of terror against the rest of the world. They're all over there. They're the ones who fund Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, you name it. Anybody who's a bad guy, they fund, and they're proud of it because they think that the only thing they were put here on earth was to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and then the United States. We are the big Satan to them. If we can destabilize that government, it is nothing but good for us and the rest of the world. I hope we can do something. Of course, it would be impossible to pull off the same kind of endeavor in Iran as we did in Venezuela. But anything we can do to destabilize that government is a good thing, and it's good for the people. Believe me, this country used to be one of the most moderate countries in the world. They love their freedoms. They want to be more Americanized, but they've been tamped down by violent oligarchs and an autocracy that basically believes that they are religiously supposed to subdue their people into something they never had before, and it's really a shame. So I hope we can continue this great momentum like you were just talking about.
Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. Sir, we're close enough in age where we've both experienced the global war on terror as adults. And while I am all about the use of American power, I am also part of that generation of fatigue of I don't want to see boots on the ground in different countries. So when we see what is going on in Iran and now in Venezuela, I think this is where our side looks at the use of military force and can get behind it. Is that a similar view that you have, or is yours different?
No, I agree with you 100%. Now, first of all, just putting men and women in harm's way, people, this is the reason that we withdrew from Afghanistan in a very bad way. It was a race by Biden to get something done just for the excellent bloc because he didn't want people in America put it on harm's way. But we weren't losing people in Afghanistan. We'd already paid the price. $2 trillion, almost 2,500 lives lost, countless brain injuries and limbs lost, months and years away from our families. We'd done all that, and we weren't losing people over there. The Afghanis were still losing people, but they were giving themselves a hope. We had fewer people over there than we have in Spain right now. We've never even fought a war in Spain. So we have to be smart about the way we apply our forces. We get committed to a new war with boots on the ground. We've got to be careful about it because that is another Vietnam when you start building forces overseas. You may need some temporary stabilization. I always look at places like Haiti and stuff like that have essentially no government. And now Venezuela essentially has a headless government. So we do have to be careful not to see things go into pandemonium where drug lords become the law. That would be a horrible thing for the people. So we need to be judicious. I certainly don't want to have a full force invasion of another country. That would be something we don't want to be in. And I think the people like you and I, we are fatigued. We've been at war pretty much my entire military career and beyond. And I think we do have that fatigue, just like you were talking about.
No doubt. Dr. Rich McCormick joining us on the Morning Extra, Tug and Los until 10. But when you look at what was happening in Venezuela, I mean, this was an indictment that was laid down in the first Trump administration. It continued. It wasn't scrapped during the Biden administration. They added a $25 million bounty to Maduro. They could have acted. They decided not to. But because of that, you have Hezbollah operating in Venezuela, the Chinese, the Russians. What do you think happens? Because I think what we did was a loud message to all of them. What do you think happens ultimately to Cuba? Because that's the one that I feel like is going to fall naturally, because all the resources that all of those countries and that terrorist group that I mentioned were in Venezuela to take advantage of. Cuba is being left out. They are going to have nothing. And it seems like that problem that we've had for so many years is going to take care of itself.
That is a really good point. I always forget, I kind of gloss over basically the effect that Cuba's had. It's been exporting its government. They had a ton of influence in Venezuela. They were actually propping that government up. For such a small country, their exportation of communism was real. And Maduro was basically propped up. I mean, he had several Cubans involved in his government and guiding him in the way he did business. First of all, I mean, think about the cojones that Trump had to have to get this done. Now, I'll even go back to when Obama went after Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, by the way, a foreign country that was not the home of Osama bin Laden, but that's where he was hiding out, and that was an ally. And we actually invaded a foreign country to get him out. That takes real courage as a president to put your reputation on the line. Remember, Jimmy Carter failed dramatically in Iran way back in the day, and that cost him a presidency in some ways. So hats off to Trump to be bold like that and realize those Democrats that are criticizing him didn't say a boo when Obama did the same thing in Pakistan, essentially going after, and that's a friendly nation. And we invaded them basically to grab a guy just in similar fashion. They did make a good movie out of that one too. So this will be stabilizing for the world, for its own people. This is going to be something very positive. God help us. I hope that they can choose a good government and really get buoyed up with the kind of economy they deserve. But yeah, Cuba, I hope, crumbles now. One less ally in that region that they really needed. I hope that the people rise up against that horrible, oppressive, violent government and overthrow them without too much violence.
Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest, just as you had brought up, sir. When you look at Venezuela and the amount of oil reserves that are under their feet, they're Saudi Arabian rich. That's the reason why when you saw their standard of living drop by 80-90% on their income over the last 20-25 years with these leftist regimes, why there's so much hope for that region. But also, I do believe that oil allows you to be aggressive. And I believe that being able to have a say now in what happens with Venezuelan oil should curtail some of the aggression, perhaps by China and Taiwan. What do you have to say about that?
Well, when Saudi Arabia used to have just oil, they weren't that wealthy as a nation. Well, they were as a nation, but only the monarchy controlled the money, and the people were still suffering. They were basically exporting terrorists because when people don't have a good standard of living, they turn to something else. Poverty always results in crime. We've seen that in the United States, even on a micro level. But what we've seen with Saudi Arabia, they've diversified with their oil money. They've used it to diversify their economy and actually become much more healthy, a much better place to live. And we've seen a plummet in terrorism, a more moderation in the people and their religious beliefs, because they have something to believe in other than just violence and a religion that sometimes, if proselytized in the wrong way, can really export terrorism all over the world. So I'm hoping they'll do something similar to what the the monarchy did in Saudi Arabia. By the way, it certainly doesn't have to be a monarchy, and I don't want it to be. But I hope the government set up that kind of develops an economy, not just based on oil, but uses those oil revenues to build an infrastructure and other products that make them very profitable and diversified so that the nation can thrive. Because when the nation is controlled by a government that's funded by oil and oil only, that means only the people involved in that business are going to benefit. So it's really important to see why Saudi Arabia was successful, because at first they were not, just by having that oil money, but because they built the infrastructure, because they built a diversified economy, that's what sets you up for success, and that's what I hope Venezuela is able to do with our guidance and our friendship.
A lot of positivity about what happened in Venezuela. So last thing for me, the government shutdown, the potential of a government shutdown on the 30th. I know you're in favor of getting our spending under control, getting our our handouts under control, taking care of Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all those things. Any concern? Do you feel better about this not coming to a shutdown, or are you concerned like I am?
Everything's going to work out perfect. It's going to be amazing.
Let's go! Woo! I knew that was going to be the answer. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I wish, man. Especially with so you get Marjorie Taylor Greene's leaving, I think today or sometime soon. Yeah. She's done, and so we're going to be down to essentially a 1-vote margin, and now we'll probably pass something in the House because nobody in the House wants a shutdown. The problem is, to continue, we still need that 60-vote margin in the Senate, which means that several Democrats have to cross over. You can probably rely on people like Fetterman and a couple other moderates, sure. But especially if you're up for election this coming year. But unfortunately, we have not been able to rely on people like Warnock and Ossoff, two Georgia senators in swing states. Now, Ossoff's in a pinch because he's up for election this year. Warnock's next. But if you look at it, and this is what I always point out to people here in Georgia, realize that Warnock's the biggest recipient for healthcare lobbyist dollars in the nation.
Yes, sir.
His last election, he had almost $1 million just from healthcare lobbying. That's just the stuff you can see. It's not the dark money, as we say. And this is from, realize that healthcare industry is really lobbying hard to keep their seat of power, because most of those government subsidies actually go directly to the insurance companies. And realize that this money that we would be propping this up with should have never came from the federal government to begin with, by the way. That was set up by the Democrats to expire at this time. So this mess that they created by voting the way they voted is now something we're cleaning up, and they're saying, well, it's their fault. Would they have control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency? They know darn well that if we had total control of the Senate, we'd need 60 votes, and we would fix it, and we'd have a much better healthcare system. But the problem is, back in the day, McCain was having a problem with President Trump, and he voted down a better plan. Now, it wasn't perfect, and the plan we have now is not perfect, but it's much better than what we're doing right now. And the status quo is obviously not working. Status quo have increased most people's premiums by almost 90% right now, and you've seen huge increases in your co-pays, your deductibles, and a lot of surprise billing, because you get done, you think everything's paid for, and you still get more bills. It's not working clearly, and it's, by the way, the largest spending item in government, the largest spending for families. It's the largest tax item for us, and it's the fastest growing expense to all Americans, the second biggest expense for all businesses. This is a massive problem. If we don't do something about it, it's not just going to affect the 7% of people that they're fighting over right now. It's going to affect all of us. I am a little bit worried, though, and I bet your next question is going to be, what's going to happen with this bill that's being brought by a couple Republicans crossing over, saying we want to vote on this extension of the supplementation. Is probably going to happen if they're willing to vote on that. But ironically, those guys believe that we have to pass it to show that it doesn't work. If that sounds insane, it's because it is.
Yes.
They literally think you got to pass it just to show everybody, hey, it doesn't really work, because people's premiums are still going to go up. Even that 7% that's going to supplement are still going to suffer massive increases.
Well, and to reinforce your point, I had to go back and do a deep dive into some of the data. Since the rise of Obamacare, Bernie Sanders was the guy in terms of taking money from big pharma and from these insurance companies. Raphael Warnock, in one term, has lapped Bernie Sanders. So anything that's coming out of his mouth in terms of what's going on with healthcare, I think you just need to wad it up and throw it away if you're an informed voter and somebody's paying attention in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going to point that out over and over and over again. These Democrats that say they're for the people, they know that this is not fixing. All you have to do is look at the healthcare system. The insurance companies are making 230% more in net profits than they did before the Affordable Care Act, and it's made it nothing but unaffordable here in America. So everything that they're saying is a big lie supported by big lobbyists, and then they pretend like they're for the little guy. It is a absolute lie. We got to call out Warnock and Ossoff as many times as possible, showing that they're not for us. They're for their own pocketbook, for their own power. The more the government gets involved in healthcare, the less competitive it becomes. I have tons of examples of that. The free market is what forces price points down. I have tons of examples of that. It's a free market economy. It's always worked for us. Just name one program the government does well. I promise you. I used to think it was just the post office.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, there's not one. We can talk all day. Dr. McCormick, thank you for your time. We appreciate you speaking with our audience today.
Love you guys. Hey, you guys are the common reasons that we need to get things done. I love what you guys do. Thanks for fighting for America. This stuff matters. God bless you. Semper Fi.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
your Dr. Rich McCormick on the Morning Extra.
I wasn't going to ask him. I wasn't going to bring it up because I don't want the congressman to have to be on the record. But I was going to say outside, post office, whatever. I'm like, but Congressman, we are good at blowing us up.
That's right. Hey, dude, as a helicopter pilot, I'm sure
really
you're going to see that up close.
At blowing us up.
Yeah, we are. Yes, sir. Absolutely right. Great to connect with the congressman, as always.
Yeah, I can see that one going around.
Yeah.
Congressman,
Rich
we're
McCormick
good at blowing us up.
Says we're good at blowing us up. That's all over MS Now. Wouldn't be wrong. It wouldn't be wrong. They might not like it, but it wouldn't be wrong. When we come back, you can't tell the Dems nothing because they're all about power. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. The NFL playoffs are set to begin, but the Atlanta Falcons are cleaning house despite their 4-game winning streak to end the season at 8-9. The team has fired head coach Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot. The Falcons started the season 6-3 before faltering in the middle of the season. As for the Atlanta Hawks, they're in action tonight north of the border as they match up with the Toronto Raptors. The Hawks are 17-20 on the season. Tip-off is set for 7:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So your New Year's resolution was to slow down on the drinking. Now you're in a jail cell facing a DUI. Time to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. A Second Chance will get your loved one home quickly. For 20 years, they've been helping folks with 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham and are available 24/7. For fast, professional, discreet services, call 404-BAILOUT. That's 404-BAILOUT or visit atlbail.com. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us.
Christmas is over, so why not get what you really wanted? Jaron Solomon here, and now is the time to treat yourself to the perfect piece at Solomon Brothers Jewelers, because you deserve it. Or maybe your New Year's resolution is to make someone else's dream come true with the perfect engagement ring. Or Valentine's Day with a gift that says it all. No matter what you are shopping for, we have 3 Atlanta locations in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg, and endless ways to celebrate you and the ones you love. Don't forget to head to the website at SolomonBrothers.com to check out the clearance page to get the absolute best deals on the styles we simply bought too much of for 2025. And with our low price guarantee and flexible financing, luxury has never been more accessible. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, helping Atlanta say I do since 1982.
Evaluating landscaping contracts for 2026 will stop dealing with unreliable vendors. You need the Ricks Group Landscape Management. Certified, insured, proven experts, trusted by property managers, HOAs, and commercial clients across Metro Atlanta. Specializing in hardscaping, drainage and erosion issues, ready for a reliable partnership, a detailed proposal, and a professional team you can count on. Will start your RFP search now at thericksgroupga.com, where experience and accountability meet landscaping results.
I'm Anna Eliopoulos with your Fox True Crime Minute. An Arizona murder being linked to a California tycoon. More than a month after a Navajo County woman was found murdered in her home, authorities say her estranged husband, Michael Abadi, is to blame. Abadi is part of a multi-generational farming family in California's Imperial Valley, known for their success in agriculture and leadership in the community. Authorities say they believe the 63-year-old made the trip from California to Arizona on November 20th, shot former beauty queen Carrie Abadi, and returned to the Golden State soon after. At the time, the Abadis were locked into bitter divorce proceedings with financial support at the center of their dispute. Abadi has now been charged with first-degree murder and is being held on a $5.5 million bond. He's pleaded not guilty. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Anna Eliopoulos with your Fox True Crime Minute.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the discussion with Dr. Rich McCormick. If you missed any of that, go back and listen to it on the Extra 106.3 app. It is available there for you. He realizes, the one thing I really admire about Dr. McCormick is he realizes when it comes to the Democrats, it's all about power, Los. That is all it is. Common sense be damned.
How wild is it that we're in a point now where you had the story that had gotten out there that you had a couple of newspapers that had gotten a hold of the information that we were going to head into Venezuela, and they sat on it.
Yep.
Like, good for them.
That's respect.
They thought about it might put troops in danger. There was an editor somewhere along the lines that said, this is not what we should be producing until this is over with. Wait a couple hours, here's what it's going to be.
That's the Trump effect, dude.
But imagine how the Democrats as a whole, whether it's Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries, every single time we have any sort of military action, most notably what happened in Iran and obviously what's happening here with the drug boats, every time they complain about not being in the loop, it's because they can't be trusted not to politically use the scenario to try and create death that harms the administration.
Donald Trump said it.
Yeah.
He said we didn't tell anybody because it would leak. Marco Rubio echoed that. We can't trust our own people to not put our military men and women in harm's way, so we can't tell them what we're doing.
I know that I'm, to a certain extent, forecasting here. But if Chuck Schumer knew the information ahead of time, he would be looking to have carnage because carnage would be helpful to Democrats in power.
And them. Yep. That's exactly right. How disgusting is that?
Because we haven't had a scenario yet where they've been involved because they're looked at as they can't be involved.
They can't.
We can't allow them to be involved because they can't be trusted.
Think about what Carlos just said to you. The Democrats are willing to allow carnage to benefit them politically. That's why they cannot win at the ballot box. It's why you have to go vote every time you have a chance, and you have to get anybody else that you know that will get out and vote and go pull the lever to make sure they get out and do it. That's what the Democrat Party is. That's what they've become, a party of power.
I mean, I still remember, I'm old enough to remember, that when we were leaving Afghanistan, there were people that were falling off of planes, all right, from like
trying to
get on the planes, and they're falling off the planes to their deaths. All right. We had all of this play out with Abbey Gate, 13 people being murdered there. In response, we decided, let's go ahead and take a missile and let's blow up a van that turned out to be filled with a bunch of family members. And after all of that carnage, what did the left do? Nothing. There was no punishment for anyone.
Shoulder shrugging.
Because politically, it didn't make sense to. When we had Benghazi, what did the Democrats do? They covered it up. They said it was because of a YouTube video.
What does it matter at this point anyway?
Because they couldn't afford to have an attack that killed an American ambassador on the anniversary of September 11th in a foreign country. So you don't think that they would look to create carnage in the interest of political power? We've already seen what they've done when they are in power. They cover up their mistakes as quickly and as harshly as possible.
They will lie to your face.
They will sit there and tell you, what does it matter?
What does it matter now anyway? Hillary Clinton.
Think about that. We actually have the government, this administration, that could not inform anyone in political power in Congress on the Democrat side because of concerns they would leak an operation to their Venezuelan allies.
The mainstream media, which none of us trust, is more trustworthy than the Democrats. That's what we learned.
That's what we learned. They actually sat on a story.
Dude, that should be stirring to your soul. And that's why when people are like, I'm concerned about the midterms. How? How could we possibly be concerned about the midterms? If you know what you're going to allow, if you know what you're going to get with the Democrats, who in the world would say, yeah, that's what I want? I want a group of people that will allow carnage to benefit them politically. I want no part of it. I want nothing to do with it. Cannot imagine anybody staying at home or voting Democrat. I cannot imagine. I can't fathom it. But they keep telling me that the midterms are a concern, and I believe them. I believe them, but we've got to be vigilant. We have to be. We've got to make sure that we get out and vote because they will open up the borders again. They will do all the things. They will reinstate USAID. They are going to go back and do all of it again. Anything that Donald Trump has done, they will undo. Be sure of it. When we come back, a vocal Democrat screams Maduro was not a threat to America, but forgets an important move by the Biden administration, saying otherwise. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, a couple of thoughts on Maduro and this amazing weekend. As I've said of Donald Trump, I don't like what he is, but I like what he does. If the guys would let me on the air more, I could say a lot more. But at 2:30 Saturday morning, the printing presses started up all over this country, printing those no blood for oil, no war in Venezuela, free Maduro signs. So offshoots of the American Communist Party could stage their little demonstrations. They had quite a network and they were ready to rip. And the mind-numbed, dumb as a box of rocks leftists in this country, a month or so ago, they're carrying no kings signs. Now they're saying, return the dictator to Venezuela. How stupid do they look? What's more, when Obama sent American troops in on the ground into Pakistan to kill bin Laden, did the Democrats gripe, oh, they should have cleared that operation through the Congress first? No, Obama, their God, did that. This is Trump. He can't do anything without Democrat damnation. If he came up with a cure for cancer, they would be upset because he didn't clear it through Congress before he presented it to the world. And oh, what about this stuff? You're going to run Venezuela? Oh, no. We're just going to get rid of Maduro, and then we're going to let Venezuela descend into the humanitarian hellhole it was under Maduro by letting his chosen sycophants take over. I have enjoyed this whole thing immensely. First, because Trump told Maduro, you effed around, now you're going to find out. Secondly, because the left is beside themselves with anguish over this. Yeah, we really need those people running this country, don't we? First time in a while, I actually wish I had a show. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
It's January 5th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Screenwriters Day, and if you ask actor Ryan Reynolds, screenwriters are unsung heroes.
It's a hugely undervalued asset in Hollywood. They are the architects. They make us look good.
So grab your laptop, head to your closest coffee shop, and start typing away. Who knows, someday Ryan Reynolds may talk about you. Also on this date, Henry Ford doubled the per-day wage for most of his workers from $2.40 for a 9-hour day to $5 for an 8-hour day in 1914. Legendary Dodgers player Jackie Robinson announced his retirement in 1957. If it's your birthday today, you share it with King C. Gillette, the inventor of inexpensive and disposable razors, born in 1855. And REO Speedwagon drummer Brian Hitt, born in 1954. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Locally owned and heard throughout Georgia on the Extra app.
Venezuela's captured leader is now in a New York City courthouse. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This is what it looks like when you have decisive action to take out and eliminate and arrest and bring to justice individuals who are pouring narcotics into the streets of America and causing deaths to tens of thousands of Americans.
That's what FBI Director Kash Patel just told Fox. And 2 days after the U.S. raid that took Maduro and his wife into custody, they were taken from their jail cells in Brooklyn to face arraignment in Manhattan. Fox's Todd Pyro's there.
Maduro, as we know by now, is accused of running a multi-billion-dollar drug operation in partnership with the cartels, flooding the U.S. with hundreds of tons of narcotics for over 2 decades. He was indicted on 4 counts, including narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices.
President Trump said this about Venezuela last night on Air Force One.
The country is a mess. It's been horribly run.
Adding the U.S. is in charge there now, and if the acting president, who was Maduro's VP, Delcy Rodriguez, does not do what's right, she could pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. The president also said, flying back to the White House, Cuba looks like it's ready to fall, and
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long.
A reporter then asked if there will be a U.S. operation in Colombia. The president responded, sounds good to me. He also again said the U.S. should take control of Greenland, which Denmark's leader does not like hearing.
Mette Frederiksen says the U.S. has no right to annex any part of the Kingdom of Denmark. That includes Greenland, which President Trump says the United States needs for national security. Danish Prime Minister Frederiksen says it's time to stop the threats against a historically close ally.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A man's in custody in Ohio, arrested by Secret Service early this morning, accused of vandalizing Vice President Vance's home in Cincinnati. The VP and his family were not home at the time. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra.
Stop playing games. It's the final hour.
Marco Rubio's already said we do not play games, and we are taking the lead of the President and the Secretary of State. We neither will be playing games.
Don't mess around.
None.
Especially in this final hour.
That's right. We get it. The serious stuff happens here at the 9 o'clock hour.
Welcome back. It's 2026.
Does that sound weird?
Yeah, it does. In fact, I'm a computer nerd. All right. So how I even save files. Used to have coworkers that would get after me. They're like, you date everything on there. I'm like, yes, of course. That's what I do.
I do that same thing. It's interesting you say that.
So I did put down 25 a couple times in the last few days. So
it's like the new version of writing checks.
Yes, it always took several days into the next year when you're writing a check to remind yourself, oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not the right year any longer.
That's right. We've got to advance forward. 2026. Gosh. I mean, I've been out of the military for 26 years because I got out in January of 2000. It feels like it was yesterday. It really does. I feel like I was in high school yesterday. I feel like I dropped out of college 3 times yesterday. Some things
once wasn't enough. I had to do it 2 more times to let them know I'm serious.
Back off. You want to see how serious I am?
I still laugh about it. And hopefully, if the Braves have a playoff season, then we'll have our friend Chris Domino, who works down the hall.
So I hope so.
Baseball Jesus, who joins us when they're in the playoffs. But no playoffs this year. No Baseball Jesus. Sorry, I didn't take him from you.
That's right. The Braves did it.
The Braves did it. It wasn't me.
Be mad at them.
But the joke has always been because he was actually studying to be a chiropractor.
Which is the strangest thing in the world, if you know him.
Before he started getting involved in broadcasting. And as he jokes around about it and makes me laugh to this day, he's like, they wanted to call me doctor. I wasn't going to let them put that label on me. So he's like, I quit everything.
Most people can't wait to add doctor to their signature. Domino's like, hell no.
I'm working on my degree. I'm going to be an attorney. They want to call me Esquire. No, they won't.
I will have none of it. That's right. Phil Holloway, you keep your Esquire. I don't want no part of that. Dirty Esquire tags and doctor titles. I don't want no part of any of that stuff.
Can I bring up the other deal that we have going on in the sports world?
Of course, yeah.
It is Black Monday.
Yep.
Kevin Stefanski is out as the Cleveland Browns coach. Here locally, Raheem Morris is out. Terry Fontenot, the GM, is out. And reportedly...
Is Arthur Blank out?
No.
Oh.
Reportedly...
Crap.
From Adam Schefter from ESPN, the Falcons are bringing in Matt Ryan to be the president of football operations.
I did see that leading into the holidays. Actually, my son and I were watching the Falcons yesterday get the win over the Saints, and we had that same discussion. And my sweet wife was like, is he just not like talking about football no more? You know, I was like, no,
it's not like talking about football no more.
I was like, no, sweetie, it's not that at all. I think he just, and Jacob was like, I think he just loves the Falcons. He wants to see the Falcons be a good franchise.
Quite honestly, in the broadcast world, you can always move in and out of it.
No, it's easy. Yep. Especially for guys like Matt Ryan with that pedigree.
NFL jobs do not come around very often. And when you do, you only get, in my opinion, a limited shot at it. So, like, for instance, I did watch, at some point we are going to get into some of the stuff we did during our break period. I did watch the John Elway documentary.
I started to do that Saturday night. I didn't get to it because I was watching The Brain of a Dog.
Okay. Well,
on Netflix.
Got pulled that direction. But it was intriguing to see for a guy who had all of his success and 2 Super Bowl wins to then be the only person in the history of the NFL who has not only won a Super Bowl as a player, but then won one as an executive. So it's rare air. It doesn't happen very often where you get to have that sort of role. So that's the reason why Matt Ryan will step away from CBS and will now be working here.
Yeah, and he does a good job on CBS.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's
very
so
solid.
Yeah, he sits upright. I've noticed that. He has very good posture. He always dresses really, really good and then has a great analysis as well. I like Matt Ryan a lot. I'm sure our politics don't agree whatsoever. I've learned that. However, I do like him, and I think he will be a good asset for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, can he talk Arthur Blank out of just embracing mediocrity? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Jure said something earlier that I thought was really smart. He was like, they're so concerned about the way people perceive them as a team and as an organization that they're fine with just doing okay. Meritocracy is not important. Like winning is not important. As long as you see us through a certain lens, we're happy with that.
The issue that we've run into is from 2008, because remember, 2007 was a total mess. That was the dogfighting year. That was Joey Harrington, Byron Leftwich, all the madness that had gone on. And that ends up ushering in Matt Ryan, Mike Smith, Thomas Dimitroff. And for the better part of the next decade, they were one of the solid teams in the NFL. Obviously, getting a chance to go to 2 NFC title games, getting a chance to go and play in a Super Bowl. But we're now talking about, it's been, 7-8 seasons since they've been in the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's
I read this morning, it's been since 2017 they've had a winning record.
Yeah.
That's the last year in the Dome.
That was the last
wasn't it?
year.
In the Georgia Dome, right?
Yeah,
That's bad.
they have yet to host a playoff game
in MBS.
In Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
The MARTA bus was serious.
But look at it. I mean, you can look at their record from 2008 to 2017, 10 seasons, and you will see that was the golden age of this team.
It was.
And while they've been knocking on the door, they've been about a 500 ball club. 500's not good enough.
Yeah, right. Who would it be good enough for?
People that like average.
Well, it's not like it's the AFC North or anything. I mean, you're in the NFC South. If you were serious about winning, it's there for the taking.
8-9 won the division.
It's there, and it's been that way for the last decade.
Yeah.
The Bucs
won the division.
I think the Buccaneers get serious maybe every 5 or 10 years, and then they kind of put together something. All right, they had a great situation where Brady and Gronk became available, and they were set up to plug that in. But there's not another team in the South that really is a threat, and the Falcons aren't a threat.
No.
It's there for the taking. Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it. You're exactly right. And I still contend that Arthur Blank, if not the worst, one of the worst owners in football because of the way not because he doesn't like the team or doesn't spend the money, because of the things that are important to him and the things that are not important to him.
Flat out point this out. Talked about 2008 to 2017. Total record, 95-65. Them's the salad days.
Yep.
That's what you're trying to get back to. You're trying to get back, and it's quarterback play, it's front office. Remember, Thomas Dimitroff, he won 2 Executives of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just time. He'd been here for 10 years. It was just time. All right, that's the level that you're now shooting at. And I think Terry Fontenot did a good to okay job. But what's always going to be dropped at his feet is $100 million on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
That's the monumental mistake.
Buddy,
and by the way, the Falcons don't have a first-round pick. Now, I'll take the player that they traded the first-round pick for.
Sure.
You get a rookie with 10 sacks, you've got a player.
Yeah.
But you don't go into this offseason thinking, what am I doing with a first-round pick? And you're now having to shop for a new general manager and a new coach.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of work to do.
That's a lot of work to do, especially with an organization that is just fine with mediocrity.
Yep.
They're just fine with
They're
it.
going to sell those premium seat licenses. They're going to sort of
I ain't buying
bring
one.
in. Dude, they're going to the Falcons, Atlanta in general. It is a very friendly place for other people to come see their favorite team.
Yep.
If you want to talk about how politics works, sometimes it's window dressing. Sometimes you actually get somebody who can do the job. I don't know what Matt Ryan's going to represent, but I do know that in 2008 when he came in, it changed the entirety of the franchise.
Sure.
That's what they're going back to, that Matt Ryan's going to come in as the president of football operations, and they're going to give him, here's your authority, and let's see what happens.
But that's the thing. What authority do they give him? And that's what you're saying. The question, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, can Matt Ryan do it?
Will he hire the next GM and also obviously be involved in the next head coach? We'll see.
Yeah, that's right.
We could have had Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Be in charge of it all.
Could have had Bill.
And because his experiment is failing at the University of North Carolina, it was never going to work there. It's a different monster.
Yeah, but he's winning life.
He is, yes, absolutely. 26-year-old hottie tapping him on the shoulder during the game, asking him for $1 to go to the concession stand. Yeah, that's a win, if you ask me to.
Can we get ice cream after?
That's exactly.
Yes, we can.
Have you seen her on the sidelines and how weird and awkward that is?
That
Just
aside,
tapping him on the shoulder.
I think the Falcons front office it's a case of too many cooks in the kitchen, right? There's just too many
Arthur
people.
Blank being the main. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Well, and you talk about will Matt Ryan have the authority, because they're just elevating other people. And, okay, he's going to be another guy in there. Is he going to be able to do what he wants to do?
It's always Rich McKay that finds his way back into this stuff. Mm-hmm. Because Rich McKay, from being a general manager back in the early 2000s to then being out of that job, it's always been the further away he is from the operations, the better things go. And then once he gets back involved again, then things get haywire. And so, but he never goes anywhere because he's on, for those of you that don't know, he is on the competition committee in the NFL. He's sitting with a golden ticket. That committee is one of the most influential places to be in the NFL. So Arthur Blank basically has a seat at the table by hiring and having Rich McKay. That's the reason why he never goes anywhere.
So park him at head of concessions or, whatever.
At one point, they gave him Atlanta United. That worked out well, actually.
Yeah.
They gave him the building, and they said Atlanta United, and he delivered a title.
Yep, there you go. Amazing that he can't do that in the NFL. Amazing. I mean, he was close. They were close.
Well, he's got his title in Tampa.
Yeah.
Where, and that's, again, even that's a little bit of, all right, they brought in a coach. The coach made the decisions. He was the GM.
Yeah, there you go. Will the Falcons ever be anything but mediocre? I guess we shall see. I want to play a piece of audio from you for you. It's Chris Murphy back in 2024. Listen to what he had to say about the illegitimate President Maduro.
Venezuela is not a security threat to the United States. They're not threatening to invade us. There is no terrorist group like Al-Qaeda operating there that has plans to attack the United States. To the extent that you care about the drug trade, yes, they produce drugs, but those drugs go to Europe. Fentanyl is the drug that's killing Americans. That's not coming from Venezuela. Venezuela produces cocaine. 90% of it is not coming to the United States. This seems to be mostly about oil and natural resources. Donald Trump's entire foreign policy is corrupt. Russia, the Middle East, and now Venezuela is all about making money for his friends. And Wall Street, the oil industry, they can make a lot of money off of Venezuela if they run it. You saw within hours of the invasion the announcement of a group of Wall Street investors, energy industry investors, planning a trip to Venezuela to make money off of this invasion, off of this ouster. So unfortunately, once again, you're seeing that this president's foreign policy, the invasion of Venezuela, the ouster of Maduro, is about making his crowd filthy rich. It has nothing to do with American national security.
Chris Murphy saying that Maduro was no danger. Now, back in 2024, he said, illegitimate president, this guy's got to go. Donald Trump's in his pocket because he didn't take him out. There was all kinds of conversations that sounded very, very different then than they do right now.
I have a simple question. Was there a possibility that we were going to have a Chinese naval base in Venezuela?
Yes.
All right, that's all I need.
That's what more could you possibly need?
Because that is now in our hemisphere.
How bold do you have to be if you're the Chinese to be like, yeah, we're going to park it right next to you?
We're going to park it in your backyard. Nope. No, you're not.
Because with Joe Biden, they would have.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Because they knew there was no one with a spine in the entirety of the leadership of the United States under Joe Biden and under Democrat rule, that no one had the courage to stand up.
I'm just glad we get to be consistent. That's what I think has been one of the hallmarks of this show, that we will talk about when we got something right, when we got something wrong, but our message is always going to be consistent. We talked about how the drug end of this was the minor end of this. That was for Norm and Norma. That was for the conversation at the dinner table.
Easily digestible.
Easily digestible. They're sending drugs here. They're not sending drugs here. They were sending drugs into Mexico, which find their way here after they're cut with fentanyl. J.D. Vance said as much yesterday. That fentanyl, while it had been produced in China, we've curtailed that a bit. It was running through India. It is still finding its way into Mexico. They cut their drugs with it so that you have to take more because it snaps you out of the high faster. That's what fentanyl is used for. This was about geopolitical politics and making sure that the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, and the Cubans knew that we're not messing around.
But the Trump administration had to be smart in the way they did that. That's why they keep talking about this being a law enforcement operation. That is so important because that makes it a legal operation.
It is not about regime change in the traditional sense.
That's right.
You did not take out a head of state. You got rid of a criminal that is going to be tried for crimes in a federal courtroom.
They read him his Miranda rights as they were taking him out.
They arrested him.
Yep. The FBI was on state. They were with the folks that the Delta Force.
They gave him the legal protections of what you would face in an American courtroom.
And he'll have legal defense.
Yep.
It'll be a trial in downtown New York City in Manhattan. That's what it's going to be. And it's so important because when you ask, well, why isn't Trump naming a leader in that country? Why is he continuing to work with the vice president? That's because it wasn't about regime change. Technically, it wasn't about regime change. By arresting him, by taking him to court, it naturally happens. Regime change naturally happens.
What feels better? Having to go into Afghanistan and to tell their men there to stop having sex with young boys, and here's how we're going to regime change this thing from the Taliban, and spending 20 years doing that, or getting capturing the head of a cartel? This feels like the better part of regime change.
I'll take it. It's something that needed to happen. You know it needed to happen. I know it needed to happen. And the celebration of the Venezuelan people is the best evidence that I've seen yet of this needing to happen. Even Venezuelans who don't care for Donald Trump, and I watched videos from them too saying, hey, I don't care for Donald Trump, particularly in many things. I thank God that he did this. I thank God that he took out Nicolas Maduro. That's how strong that is with the Venezuelan people. When we come back, Derek Dooley, who's running for U.S. Senate in Georgia, joins us next. We'll ask him some of the questions, how he feels about the operation. If he becomes the next senator, what would he say? Next at Extra.
The Morning Xtra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and The Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
How about a simple New Year's resolution? One that even I was able to achieve. Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You're going to feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look into that mirror, and you need to know what it feels like. And now, from Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment to their highly experienced team, they are the team that I personally recommend and trust in hair restoration. Did I mention your new hair is guaranteed to grow and can grow for life? How about celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 872-217-HAIR. Again, that's 872-217-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. Call us now before the rush for your handyman for a day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, The Trusted Toolbox.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/records for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/records for 55% off.
Fox on Film.
I'm Michelle Polino.
What do you want? The ghost shirt.
Americana is streaming on Stars. The film stars Sydney Sweeney, Halsey, and Paul Walter Hauser. It follows local outsiders and outcasts in a small South Dakota town whose lives violently intertwine after a rare artifact falls onto the black market.
Do I know you?
In theaters, The Dutchman, set on a New York subway. It centers on an encounter between a man and woman who match wits in a sexualized game of cat and mouse that leads to a violent conclusion. Also in theaters, We Bury the Dead. After a catastrophic military disaster, the dead don't just rise, they hunt. The military insists they're harmless. But when Ava, played by Daisy Ridley, enters a quarantine zone searching for her missing husband, she discovers a horrifying truth. The undead are growing more violent and more dangerous by the hour. That's Fox on Film on Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 5th. More than $300 million in federal emergency funds are headed to communities in Georgia to aid recovery from Hurricane Helene damage. The release of these funds was delayed, which local officials say caused additional hardship for residents. The storm caused significant damage when it moved through the state in September 2024. Authorities in Paulding County arrested 10 suspects and seized more than $1 million in illegal drugs, including fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and over 10,000 pills. Investigators also confiscated 71 firearms, a live hand grenade, and about $250,000 in cash during the operation. The quantity of the drugs seized was estimated to be enough to kill nearly 4 million people. And Georgia teens report lower alcohol use than the national average, with about 12.5% saying they drank in the last month compared to over 15% nationally. They also have a lower binge drinking rate than the national figure at roughly 6.9%. Today's weather mostly cloudy with a high of 62. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Joined by Derek Dooley. He's a candidate for Senate in U.S. Senate here in the state of Georgia. Coach, how are you?
Hey, doing good, but I'm still reeling from the dogs. It's hard to shake off that loss. It's going to take a while. For sure.
It is going to take a minute. That was a
my wife and I don't even talk about it right now.
We just act like it didn't happen.
I've got my Georgia flag hanging outside my house. I can't even bring myself to take it down, Coach.
Yeah, it was a tough game to watch, but what a great game it was. And you look back and these games now, they come down to these few plays that make a difference. I thought there were kind of two critical moments in the game. One was starting the second half. Had a nice lead, getting the ball, and first two possessions, we go 3 and out.
Yep.
Then we get a big turnover on downs, and we go a few plays and miss a field goal. We had an opportunity there to go up 3 possessions, which might start getting Ole Miss to thinking they can't do it. But that gave them life. And then, of course, the real dagger was 2nd and goal on the 3 with about a minute to go.
Yeah.
And we lose 3 yards on a run. And then, we throw the ball. And that was a tough sequence. And then, of course, you got to give credit to the quarterback at Ole Miss.
Oh,
what a remarkable game he had.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was Trinidad Chambliss. I think there were 3 plays in a row, right?
He was ridiculously on point.
Yeah, he was just running for his life and still head and eyes down the field, able to make plays even then. It really was. It's unbelievable. So Yeah, disappointed, heartbroken, and you know what? We'll get them next time. That's the only thing you can say, Coach.
Yeah, it's time to move on, but, you know, we are certainly in a new era. I mean, you look at the Final Four, and Ole Miss is representing the SEC, Indiana, kind of the kingpin of the Big Ten. I mean, it's a certain. If anybody that doesn't think it's a different era, they got their head stuck in the sand.
Yes, sir, they do. You're exactly right. I want to ask you, let's fast forward. Let's say you were already a senator from the state of Georgia, and you learned about the operation that took place in Venezuela. Because I've looked at the two senators that we currently have. Warnock blasted the decision to take out dictator Maduro, and Jon Ossoff has not said a stinking word about it that I can find. What would you have said, sir?
Yeah, well, that's not surprising. And, of course, the guys up there know a lot more than what we know for sure. But what is factual is this guy Maduro has been a disaster for the last 15 or so years, not only in a lot of the narco-terrorism that he sponsors, but also in the oppression of his people. And having that country right here on our hemisphere, it's a major national security issue, and he's over there building alliances with all of our rivals around the world. He already has been indicted, and so it was a way to go execute an indictment. So I'm very supportive of what the Trump administration does. And, of course, now the key is what happens now. And, you know, I know they have a plan, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and creating some stability and helping the people out of Venezuela is not going to happen overnight. But, you know, it's our hemisphere. It's our national security is at risk. And I'm glad the president, you know, as he always does, he takes action. And it's funny why I don't understand why people are surprised. I mean, you know, he's been surrounding, he's warned him, and eventually it was going to happen. And so, you know, he's a man of his word, and when he says he's going to do something, he does it.
Derek Dooley is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. He's running for U.S. Senate. And, Coach, I want to ask you about this because part of what I think is going on with Jon Ossoff is that we don't hear from him very often. Well, obviously, he votes extremely left, but he doesn't talk very often. If you find yourself in that seat, if you find yourself in the Senate, you know, how do you look to kind of conduct yourself? Do you want to be somebody who's a little bit more outspoken, or do you just want to kind of make sure that your politics and your policies are what's leading the charge for you?
Well, the main reason I'm running for this seat is to give the seat back to the people of Georgia. Because it's not Jon Ossoff's seat. It's the people's seat. And so what I hope to be as a senator is somebody who's going to listen to the people of Georgia and are going to make the votes that are reflective of what's best for this state. And that's something that just is not going on in D.C. And it's one of the things that's frustrated me as someone who's not in politics. When you look at the careerism where people are staying up there too long, and they're only doing things because the party's telling them to do it, or you look at the corruption and people getting rich and using that position for personal gain, or you just look at the overall inaction where people are almost incentivized to do nothing. And this is the part of frustration that so many people have as I've driven around the state, that D.C. is not working for them. And so that's all I want to do is bring some kind of leadership where I'm going to listen to the people of Georgia, and then I'm going to do what's right for the state. And it's something our governor has done for 6 or 7 years, and it's the kind of leadership we need in D.C.
I was just looking at Ossoff's page on X. You can find us at Extra1063, but his is at Senator Ossoff. And I notice he's talking about stock trades with members of Congress. Okay, yeah. Is that something that is going to be helpful? Sure. But is that something is that something that impacts the state of Georgia like that? How about fixing health care for Americans and especially the people in Georgia? Because he's not doing that. He's talking about passing tax credits, you know, that are only going to help a small portion of people and not fix the health care problem in the United States and for Georgians.
Well, he's the classic case of somebody that says one thing in Georgia and does something completely different in D.C. And, it's kind of that whole wolf in sheep's clothing. And it's going to be very important that we have a candidate who's going to represent our party and go ahead and be able to go on offense on his record, because he talks a good game. He takes a lot of credit for things that he didn't do, and nobody's been there to expose him. And that's something that we're going to do. And it's nothing personal. It's just an attack on his record. We have an old saying in football, your film is your resume, and your actions speak so loudly I can't hear what you say. But nobody's really watched the tape on him for the last 5 years, because he really represents so many things that are not aligned with what the people of Georgia want. And so that's what we intend to do. We're going to go on offense on his record, and we're looking forward to exposing the truth to the Georgia people.
Derek Dooley is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. He is running for U.S. Senate. Coach, I want to ask you about this, because you can walk into any athletic facility in the country, and I'm willing to bet 5 minutes in, you're going to be very comfortable. You'll know exactly what's going on. What has surprised you about this process of running for public office that you didn't see coming, or it's been a pleasant surprise? What has surprised you about this process?
Well, I got to say, I did a lot of diligence before I decided to go in, and I didn't want to get into this situation where I didn't know what I was getting into, because once you say I'm running, there's really no going back. But I think the more you're in it, you really become educated on so many things that are sort of not working for the people. And I've been surprised at some of the dysfunction that's happened up in D.C. That most people don't. They see it, but they don't understand why it's happening. And so that's why I've been so adamant about some basic changes we need to make in our system to build a lot more trust that the people are up there representing the people that elected them. And it's something that I'm big on, is ending a lot of this careerism through term limits. We need to end a lot of this corruption through stock trading and all that. And I think when you start doing those things, then solutions will come that, as you say, are working for the Georgia people. But we've lost our way. This health care issue that you've mentioned, for example, it's been sitting on everybody's desk for a year, and nobody's been doing anything about it. And so what happens? We shut down the government, and now here we are headed into midterms, and both parties, all they care about are the midterms. Well, that's not how good policy gets made. Good policy gets made way in advance, where people are working together, they're listening to the problems, and they're finding compromises and solutions that are going to work for the American people. And that's the kind of leadership we need. And we've lost our way from that standpoint.
Talking with Derek Dooley this morning. He's running for U.S. Senate here in Georgia. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra. You mentioned the shutdown that's coming up, at the potential of that on the 30th of this month. What do you think needs to happen to make sure this government isn't shut down? What would you do if you were a senator to make sure it didn't happen again?
Well, they're going to have to find a short-term solution just to make sure we don't shut the government down, for sure. But the most important thing is that we find long-term solutions for this healthcare crisis that we have. When you look at it, the two most important people in our healthcare system are the doctor and the patient. And they're the ones really that are having the hardest time under the system we're in. And so we got a lot of work, and this really shouldn't be about Republicans and Democrats, because it affects so many people at every level on both sides of the aisle. And so, but again, what happens? Here we are, we're coming into a midterm election season, and so now everybody's focused on that instead of delivering the right result for the American people. Because, we have an old saying in athletics, it's amazing what can get accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit. But the problem is, everybody wants the credit for something good. And so they refuse to go along with something that might give the credit to somebody else. And that's just a shame. It's a disservice to the American people. And it's why we need new leadership. Somebody that's going to go up there for the right reasons, not for their own political career, but to serve the people of Georgia.
Derek Dooley is our guest. He's running for U.S. Senator right here in the state of Georgia. Coach, I want to ask you about mentality, because if you're my senator, the only time I'm probably going to talk to you is to complain. And that's what I'm going to tell you what's not working for me and what do I need to do. How? Because you've gone all across this state. You've talked to so many different people, so many different backgrounds, and oftentimes it's going to be about what needs to be fixed. How do you deal with that mentally, knowing that a lot of what you're going to hear is complaints rather than what's actually going well for people?
Well, that sounds like the 28 years that I was in coaching. It's not much different than that. Everybody's got it doesn't matter how much success you have. I mean, you look at Kirby Smart right now. He's the greatest coach in college football active right now. An incredible record. Nobody can match it. And I'm sure he's getting nothing but criticism from last week's game. So as a coach, you're conditioned to it. So you just can't take it personal. And I think the most important thing that you should do is listen to what is being said and not how it's being said. You know, people are very emotional about a lot of these issues. And so if you sort through a lot of the emotion and start finding these trends, which I've been able to do as I've driven all around the state, talking to business leaders, community leaders, law enforcement, military, you name it, you can start seeing trends of what matters most. But ultimately, I got to tell you guys, most people want the same things. They want to be safe. They want to have their kids and their families have an opportunity to get an education and develop skills so they can have a good job, afford a home, and raise a family. Those aren't complex. They're complex in how you get it, but that's what the people want. And too much of Congress sort of loses focus on the big things that matter. Those are the things that matter. It's safety, it's skill development to create jobs, and then it's being able to afford a family and a home. And as long as we keep the eye on those things and not start getting distracted with all these periphery issues, we'll be able to solve the problems together.
Lord, I wish people voted that way, because half the country doesn't vote like they feel like those are the issues that needed to be addressed. If they would just use some common sense, Coach, we would be in better shape in America for sure. But folks can find you at Derek Dooley GA on social media. Do you want to hit the website too?
Yes, it's DooleyForGeorgia.com. And listen, I know about half the people voting don't even know there's a Senate election. But once this football season's over, we're going to really pick up the campaign trail. And I look forward to getting my message out and seeing all the people around this great state of Georgia. And so we can get new leadership up in D.C. that's going to give the seat back to the people of Georgia.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to have you back in the studio, Coach, and we wish you nothing but success moving forward into 2026. Happy New Year to you, and have a great day.
Okay, Happy New Year. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Derek Dooley on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
There we go.
Always a fascinating conversation with him. He's just easy to talk to. Seems to be no nonsense. I like a lot of the things he talks about. I'd love to know what you think about him at 404-741-1230. Where was the left when Maduro took over? That's what one Venezuelan asks. We'll answer that question. Let them answer the question for you. Next on Extra 106.3.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Toro. Are you ready to tackle your lawn cutting this season? Get ahead of the game with Toro and Howard Brothers before spring gets here. Now's the perfect time to prepare for your spring. Get yourself into a trusted place like Howard Brothers and get yourself a trusted name like Toro. Their mowers, they're built to handle Georgia's toughest lawns with precision and durability on your side. Head to your local Howard Brothers and find the exact Toro mower to make your spring work a breeze. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Toro and Howard Brothers.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. The NFL playoffs are set to begin, but the Atlanta Falcons are cleaning house despite their 4-game winning streak to end the season at 8-9. The team has fired head coach Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot. The Falcons started the season 6-3 before faltering in the middle of the season. As for the Atlanta Hawks, they're in action tonight north of the border as they match up with the Toronto Raptors. The Hawks are 17-20 on the season. Tip-off is set for 7:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year. Help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand. Look him in the eye and say, I appreciate you, little fella. And we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit stopmyed.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at stopmyed.com.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Fox on Film.
I'm Kathleen Maloney. Avatar Fire and Ash remains in first place in its third weekend, adding another 40 million in North American ticket sales.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
Avatar Fire and Ash also reaching the $1 billion mark globally, marking another successful film for director James Cameron, who directed the first two Avatar films. Disney's Zootopia 2 lands in second place with 19 million.
Money Box. This is a make or break assignment. Fail and I will split you up.
No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
Hops and Wild?
Wild and Hops. The dream team. Sorry, Paul.
And Lionsgate's The Housemaid finishes third with 15.2 million. Kathleen Maloney, Fox News.
This is Fox on Justice. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan is now a convicted felon after a jury found her guilty of interfering with federal agents trying to arrest an illegal immigrant outside her courtroom in April. Dugan's high-powered defense team ultimately didn't put up much of a defense, calling just 4 witnesses and making their case in less than an hour before handing it over to the jury. The verdict marks a major victory for the Trump administration, which has vowed to prosecute any officials who obstruct immigration enforcement. Here's Brad Schimmel, the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Wisconsin, after the verdict came down.
I don't see her as a victim. She made choices. She knew what the policy was and the policy was not.
Dugan is facing up to 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $250,000, and as a convicted felon, she legally will no longer be allowed to serve as a judge in Wisconsin. I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
The legend Neil Bort sees only on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
You want to yank my chain, get me sputtering mad? A headline like this will do it. The headline says, as seniors flock to Florida, will there be enough Social Security money? Enough? There is no Social Security money.
Atlanta Talk radio legends are only on Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Thank you for being here on this first full day back, first full week back after the new year, 2026. We just appreciate you making us part of your morning the same way you did last year. It's just good. It's a nice feeling. It's very warm.
If you listen to us, you can be in the 3 Comma Club.
Let's go.
Maybe, but
if
probably
you work
not.
Hard. If you work hard.
But you can.
Yeah.
But probably not.
3 Comma?
Yes.
3 Comma.
That's quite a jump.
That is. Look, all we do is educate folks. That's it. And what do you do with education? You turn it into action.
You can.
You can.
But maybe not.
But maybe
not.
not.
You can.
But you can. Everything's possible.
Like 3 Comma Club.
Everything is possible.
I'll settle for 2 commas.
I would like...
of course you would settle.
No, don't settle.
Don't settle.
Don't settle.
Still get 9 digits out of 2 commas.
There's still 9 digits in them 2 commas.
I know, but why settle? I mean, I'm not saying that, you should go all out, but maybe go all out.
Maybe if Elon had settled, then we wouldn't go to space the way we are.
That's right.
Elon can have space. He can have it.
Yeah.
It's already
Space
there.
is dumb.
I trust space in Elon's hands.
You can have space.
Yeah.
Mars.
All the space you need.
Go
Take
ahead.
Mars.
I mean, it's not going to be in our lifetime, but it is fun to dream. It'd be kind of cool to think about. I would love to just do like, it was corny when the ladies from The View or Gayle King and who else, they went up on the Blue Horizon thing. And they just saw the curvature of the earth and all that sort of stuff. That was super cool. And then they got back down and they kissed the ground, all that weird.
Yeah, like, we went to space.
Yeah.
And like, you went to the edge of space.
Yeah, exactly. You did nothing.
Something happened to Katy Perry while she was up there.
What?
Ever since she's come back and done that, she did that residence in Vegas. That there's been some videos out of that.
And she's
Not quite
dating
right.
Justin Trudeau.
Is that right?
Yeah. They've made it official. Yeah.
I saw something with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a couple malfunctions.
Yeah. She's a cute girl. But yeah, so I'd do that if I could. I can't afford to, but if I could, I wouldn't pretend I was an astronaut, come back and kiss the ground or anything, act like I'd done something extraordinary.
So if you had a choice, go to the Titanic or go to space?
Go to space.
Okay.
I feel like we've got a better track record.
Well, if you don't get in a carbon fiber submersible.
If I'm going to the Titanic, I'm going with James Cameron. He's about the only person I trust to get me down there and back.
All right. There you go.
I'm just not going to listen to anything he has to say on the way.
Yeah,
James has a history.
Is he just a crazy leftist?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know.
I mean, he's Hollywood.
Listen,
it is what it is.
He gave you the Terminator series.
Yeah, we owe him for that.
He gave you the Terminator, and he gave me Aliens.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, or am I wrong on that?
We're square. We're good here.
I don't know about
Dog movies. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. I would love to go down to see the Titanic, but we're not to the point where we can.
I don't like heights. I would be more concerned about going that deep than going that high.
Yeah, I'd do either one, but I feel better about going to space right now. At least the space tourism part of it. Now, if the United States Navy was in charge of the submersibles, I'd jump on board that because I know how well they do submarine work. I'm
just kind of pondering as I'm like, well, how quickly would it? Like, you have to go down to the Titanic for a number of hours. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're not going there for 5 minutes.
No, yeah, it's not. Oh, there it is. Let's leave.
Right. Whereas, if you're going into space, you're going for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're back quick.
Yeah, it's not a long trip.
The view on the way up and the way back would be much better than the view in the ocean.
Right.
It's just
just
a little
black
porthole and it's just dark out there.
Right.
You see nothing.
And I would imagine that trip probably takes, just again, I don't have expertise in this, nor do I have even a background knowledge. I know it takes a while to get down there.
Yeah, it does, for sure. But if the Navy were in charge, they could get it right, because that's what they do.
Poor Tug, he'd come back with the bends.
That's right. Yeah, I can't breathe.
He has to pick between the bends or scurvy.
Yeah. I don't want any part of either one of them. Scurvy sounds awful. Of all the things you get, be like, I got the scurvy.
Scurvy's just a lack of fruit, right?
Is it? That what it is?
Yeah, like a lack of that vitamin.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good, though.
Now I have to look this up.
Yeah.
I can't stand when you bring stuff up and I don't know anything about
Well,
it.
go hit the www.
As I bring up scurvy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
Is that what causes a peg leg? Does your foot fall off?
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds bad. It sounds real bad.
Get gangrene.
And I know the old.
Where is Stephanie when we need her?
I know the old pirates and the old sailors used to get scurvy all the time, and it was not good.
Severe deficiency of vitamin C.
C. There you go. So maybe just eat a bunch of.
Bring some oranges.
Yeah.
The little tiny ones, the little cuties.
The little cute. Those are fantastic.
They are.
I could kill those things. Man, they're so good.
Historically common among sailors on long voyages during the 15th to 18th centuries.
That's because you can't get vitamin C in the middle of the ocean.
Lacking
That just
fruits and
reminded me.
vegetables.
It is sumo citrus season.
Sumo
citrus. They're basically cuties, but they're giant. They're the size of a softball.
See, I don't like those.
Oh.
I like the small ones. I like the small ones better.
All right, we have a problem here.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we're making light of this.
It's probably not anything to make light
like
of.
COVID.
Uh-oh.
Except this killed millions in the 18th century.
So it's already killed more than COVID.
So a moment of silence for scurvy. All right.
I tell you what,
did
man,
good.
it's terrible that they had to suffer that way out in the middle of the Atlantic.
Any notable names?
That just died of scurvy.
Yeah.
How do you Google that?
Treatment is straightforward.
Notable
Vitamin C supplementation.
Napoleon? No.
Now I got to ask.
Most
Who famous died of scurvy?
Who's died of scurvy? Vasco da Gama.
Who?
King Henry the Eighth.
Henry VIII. Scurvy.
Strong links to the disease. King Henry VIII.
I thought it was a car accident.
Vasco da Gama, the explorer. Car accident. That's right.
St. Louis the Ninth, King of France in the 1200s.
That's tough news.
I thought gout was the king's disease, where they had too much of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That just sucks, man. Scurvy sounds awful. That sounds terrible.
Get your shot.
You know what? Truly, though, any disease sounds bad.
Well, yeah.
Vasco da Gama died of malaria.
Well, I swear that's what AI said.
I know. It's famous explorers and voyagers.
There you go.
Scurvy killed an estimated 2 million sailors.
Yeah.
All right.
Sailors and explorers.
Well,
yeah, that's what I'm telling you. AI
don't mess around with scurvy.
See, that's the thing. AI, it's not perfected by any means, so you have to double check everything. Because otherwise, things will...
Do you think you just get fatigued and then that's about the end of it?
You just get tired and die.
Just get tired and die.
I'm going to take a nap.
Just like regular death?
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to go take a nap, boys. I'll be right back.
I'm sleepy. I died.
Like, he just went and
Doesn't everybody want to go out like Redford? I used to talk about aging like Redford. You all want to go out like Redford. Went to bed, didn't get up.
Wake up. Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, because that's what everybody wants to have happen. So maybe scurvy isn't all that bad. I wonder if it's painful till you get to that point where you take the nap.
Now let me go ask that.
I wouldn't mind going out on a ride to space. This is going to happen fast. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't even know what happened.
Like
everybody would be like, "Oh, look at him go!"
Like the shuttles.
Yeah,
just done.
Well, if I was going to go on space tourism, you had an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah, I guess you would
Fatigue, weakness, irritability, sore arms and legs, anemia, and shortness of breath.
And
those are the early signs.
Bad teeth too. I see.
Advanced swollen gums, easy bruising, skin spots, poor wound healing, and in severe cases, internal bleeding.
I got this paper cut. Won't heal up.
I think I have scurvy.
I might have the scurvy.
I think I got scurvy. This is terrible.
Is scurvy contagious?
That's another. Lowe's.
No,
it's not. Do you know that?
You have it on your own. You have it on your own. Yeah, there's no social distancing.
You don't have it. Okay, all right.
Although you'll fight a man for an orange.
Yeah, no kidding. No 6 feet apart with the scurvy.
Come on over, y'all.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just a little tired and my flesh wound won't heal up.
I did tell somebody the other day when I pointed out how, well, I guess we all nearly died when they were on this COVID rant, and one of the nutty COVID people were like, well, I had people that died. I'm like, well, you should have gotten them a better protocol.
Yes, that's right. And
my parents got on the correct protocol.
Did they respond at all?
They never will. It doesn't matter.
They don't.
They were just waiting on shots.
That's right. And probably still are. That's going to do it for us. Thank y'all for being back on day one of the new year. At least for for first full week of the new year.
If it's good enough for a 100 millionaire like Rogan,
yeah,
maybe you should give it a try.
Seems like a good idea.
He kind of has access to everything, right?
Yeah, he does. Yep. And we will be back tomorrow. Early, 6 a.m. if you're part of the 4-hour club, hand salute. If you're part of the 30-minute club, hand salute. But up those numbers. Go back and listen to it on the app.
Stay scurvy free.
Eat an orange.
Eat an orange and stay scurvy free. Becca's up next, then Clay and Buck, biggest show in all of conservative media, and the local afternoon show with the Kemmer, Pete, and Flounder. Up next for Los and Dre, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kemmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kemmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.